Welcome to the Philthy Dad Pod, a place where three washed up dads talk sports to the masses in between wiping asses. I'm your host, Ryan, and I'm joined with my co hosts, Derek and Tom. And what a weekend of sports! We had the World Series, we had Major League Soccer Championship, we had the NFL slate, we had some crazy and great college football matchups, and we got a great show for you guys today. We're very excited, boys. What'd you think about this weekend?
I mean, it was a great weekend. It was a great sports weekend. It was an entertaining weekend. You had the World Series. I mean, if you're a Philadelphia fan, it wasn't the great week. It wasn't the greatest of weekends because you had the Phillies lose the World Series, and then the Union losing a kick out. You know, so it was rough for us. But overall, all I have to say is the dogs were howling this weekend. That's all I'm going to say.
It's
Were
funny you said
they ever?
yes. It's funny you said that, D. It's tough, man. It not only did we lose two championships in the same weekend, we lost two championships in the same night within what was it, like four and a half hours of each other. It was a we're not the biggest soccer fans, but Philly is Philly. We're going to support you no matter what. And for them to lose that was tough. Now, I don't Tom watches more soccer. Tom's very into I know Tom's always on the Olympic soccer game. Yeah, on the World Cup. And I just don't understand how you can have a championship. You play 90 minutes, then they give you a 30-minute period, and then it comes down to penalty kicks. It's not something I'm a fan of, but hey, it didn't go our way. And Tom, what do you think about the Phillies, man? What do you think about that?
Well, I'm one to say that I'm not a fan of people saying unexpected, we weren't supposed to be there. La 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 la. Listen, dude. Baseball is just like hockey. No matter who you are, what team you are, the hottest team is going to win. It's like the Atlanta Braves last year. They got hot. They were missing one of their best players in Acuna. I can't even say his name.
Acuna.
And they went and won the World Series. I mean, this year, who was it? The Mets dropping, 17 of their last 20 games or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
so Tom, you're saying that they didn't overachieve. The Philadelphia Phillies didn't overachieve.
Of course, they overachieved, but they belonged to be there. They played baseball. They got hot at the right time, and I mean the home crowd helped them a lot. I mean, of course, they overachieved if you look at the record, but at the end of the day, like I keep saying, they got hot at the right time and they deserved to be there.
I agree.
Listen, dude, they were the better team against the Cardinals. They were the better team against the Braves. They were the better team against the Padres. And they just were not the better team against the Astros. I mean, the Astros straight from 1 through 7 can hit.
Yeah. Yeah, it was I was very upset. And I put something out on my personal Facebook that I would like to take back. I put out that they quit on us. And in the moment, I was pretty pissed off. I was upset. I don't think that our boys quit on us. I was a little confused I was pissed off about the Zach Wheeler move. I was a little confused about Schwarber bunting in the bottom of the eighth or in the top of the eighth with 2 outs, 2 strikes. Like, I didn't understand having our biggest power hitter bunting in that situation. The only guy that was able to put something on the board for us that game, and he just out of nowhere bunts, and then bunts foul, gets out. It felt like they were just kind of mailing it in. And then there at the end, Bryce went first pitch swinging. He popped up. And Castellanos did the same. And it just felt like they had everything just taken out of them. Now, that was a very winnable series. Do you both agree? That was a pretty winnable series.
We had to get one at home. I think if we would have got another one at home, it would have been closer. It probably Game 7. And I actually liked us in a Game 7. Honestly,
me too. Ranger was dealing. And listen, they said it on the broadcast. We say it a million times. Once you get to Game 7, all bets are off. There's no advantages. There's none of that. And again, huge props to the Houston Astros. They're not the same team. We had fun with at their expense with the cheating, but they're not the same team from 2017. They don't have the same manager. Of course, they got a couple of the key players. I'm not an Altuve fan. I don't care for Altuve. I don't care that he won, but seeing some of their players win, of course, it hurt us. But for the game of baseball, listen, they were the best team. Dusty finally got his ring. major props to the Stros, even though it sucks that it was at the expense of our beloved Phillies. We're
And I
gonna
mean, and congratulations to their fans because they probably will never see a Super Bowl. They're never going to see an NBA championship. So, kudos to them.
Listen,
their
dude,
fans.
Mattress Mac is living life, dude.
Oh yeah.
That dude was living
You
life.
know what? Give props to their fans because they tried. That last game, they were making some noise. They tried to beat Philadelphia. They couldn't quite match us because I'm pretty sure half of the fans in the stadium were there for the Eagles and the Phillies game. So
yeah, we had a lot of leftover fans there from the Thursday night game. That stayed and wound up going to game 6 and would have went to game 7 if we were able to get there. Now, again, we weren't. We're going to be we're not going to focus too much on that here today for 2 reasons. One, I'm still not over it. Still kind of hurt. Nah. But 2, we're going to release a 2022 Philly season recap probably Wednesday. You can look for that coming out on Wednesday. And we'll break it down. We'll break down the season. We'll break down, everything from the Girardi firing to the slide in September, the run they went on before that, getting into the playoffs, the entire playoff run, and what we think they could have done to win. But we moved past that, and we moved past the Union losing their championship, and we get into a wild weekend of football. It was, from college football, you had LSU go ahead and upset Alabama. You had Georgia stomp on Tennessee. And it was just it was a crazy weekend. There's going to be a lot of shift in the rankings. Tom, give me a quick preview of what we're looking for, what we seen in college football this weekend.
Alabama losing definitely keeps Tennessee in the top 4, even though I think
so.
they would have. I do think they still would have stayed in the top 4, regardless.
I think Clemson would have been if they beat Notre Dame, but they lost. So
I don't know.
Who's your top 4 right now? I got Georgia number 1,
of course.
Ohio State number 2. I have Tennessee number 3. And I guess you got to go Michigan number 4.
Who's yours?
Yeah, I have pretty.
Or you could flip flop Michigan.
I will say that it was weird watching Michigan. I guess it's the same thing every year. Watching Michigan struggle against Rutgers at first was like, what the fuck's going on right now? And they blew them out.
That's how college is. They can open up a game at any point.
It's unreal.
That's why you have these crazy lines where it's like, Ohio State would be minus 30 one game, and then they're losing, and then they wind up winning by 40. It's crazy.
Yeah. So my top 4, I'm gonna go Georgia number 1. I think that's pretty obvious. Ohio State number 2. Michigan sitting at number 3. I got them making a jump from number 4 up to number 3. They beat Rutgers 52-17, and nobody is giving this team love, but I'm gonna give them a why. My arms are open for this team. The TCU
Texas Christian University.
9-0. They jumped from number 7 to number 4 with a 34-24 win over Texas Tech. That's just my opinion. Yes.
You know the greatest running back in TCU history, right?
Who's that?
LaDainian Tomlinson, baby.
Oh. Greatest running back in Tom Flynn's life too. All right, so we will get into that a little bit later. I just wanted to highlight that real quick, but let's jump into the NFL recap. Now, one second.
Me and Tom, we might as well just eat crow right now. Me and him, let's just eat crow because it was his lock of the week. I said that they were going to spank the Jets bad as the Jets shouldn't even showed up. So let's just eat crow now, Tom. What the fuck happened to the Bills?
Bro, the defense just played up, dude. I don't know what the fuck happened. Listen, the opening kickoff, I laughed because he fucking busted his ass. Josh Allen got, then the next play, Stephon Diggs. They got all the way down to the red zone. I text Ryan just saying, like, right there, I'm like, this game's going to be a fucking blowout.
Right.
Dude, he threw the ball to the linebacker. It's like the linebacker ran an out route and he fucking threw it to him, and it just baffled me. It's not that the Jets scored or anything. I mean, they punted the ball, but I mean, he literally threw it to the linebacker like he was the receiver.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when he threw it right to him, I'm like, all right, Josh Allen, he's just shaking the cobwebs off or whatever. But you just seen after that throw, like they were just all over him. Like it was crazy. That line, Sauce got burnt that first play, and then after that, he was like lights
Oh,
out.
he
It was
locked in.
crazy, dude.
Yeah.
It was just like crazy.
So I had first thing I wrote down on the notes for the Bills versus Jets game in the post game was Flynn's lock of the week has been unlocked. It is not, and on an Instagram page at Philthy Dad Pods, our buddy who actually designed our cool little background. We got our logo with the 3 heads. Our boy Luke had come in there and he said, "Okay, so I'm going to bet the house on the Jets." And that's kind of been what the Tom Flynn lock of the week has come to, Tom. We need you to hit on some of these locks.
I should have just took the fucking Bengals.
I mean, it should be the fade of the week, not the lock of the week.
The Tom, but that's the thing, and that's where if you want to make a lot of money when we release the Tom Flynn lock of the week, you just fade it. And
so what are we officially 0-1 on the season? I know you had 2. I know you had. Well, yeah, you're 0-1 on the season, Tom.
Listen, dude, I'm gonna pick every week. One of these weeks, I'm gonna win eventually.
Yeah.
So look, talking about the Bills versus the Jets, coming into this game, there was no way. We all talked about it. There was no way Buffalo was going to lose this game. And for the Jets, man, in the first half, it felt that way. Even though it was low scoring, it was a dogfight. It just felt like they weren't going to win. I was waiting for the Bills to pull away. I really was. I was waiting for them to pull away. It never happened. And the Jets were able to do it. Their defense absolutely shut down Josh Allen and Buffalo's offense. Zach Wilson threw a touchdown there late, and Greg DeLay was able to kick a go-ahead 28-yard field goal with 1:43 left to send the Jets into their bye week, a half game behind the division-leading Bills. And just to talk about that last drive real quick for the Jets, late in the fourth, Jets were able to get into the red zone on 8 straight running plays. They drained the clock. They handed it off they ran the ball 8 straight times. They were able to drain the clock, and it looked like they were going to punch it in for a touchdown. Zach Wilson gets sacked on 3rd down. Jets settle for the field goal. And then Josh gets his chance. He gets his chance to drive him down the field and win the game. And he gets to that long 4th down. He gets a desperation time, and he puts a pretty decent pass out. That dude got a rocket. He puts a pretty decent pass on Gabe Davis, and rookie Sauce Gardner came up and he made a good play. And the Jets do again come away with the upset victory of the day, crushing the Tom Flynn lock of the week. And the other quarterback, there is another quarterback in this game. Zach Wilson didn't have the biggest day, right?
Nope.
But he did just enough to not lose his team the game. And he did exactly what they needed to do while the defense was holding, they were holding Allen down. They grabbed 2 picks in this game, and they held Josh Allen without a passing touchdown for the first time this season. It hasn't happened since week 17 of last season, but he was able to rush for 2 touchdowns on the ground, and looked like he was a little banged up at the end of the day. Afterwards, he took it on the chin, and that's all you could really do. So props to him. But I do have one thing to say. And I'm gonna get real close to the mic when I say this, so that our friends in Buffalo, Darryl's and the Terrys of the world, the Buffalo Bills are not the number 1 team in the league. They are not the best team in the league. I don't want to hear it right now. I don't want to hear it next week when they come back. I don't want to hear it. The Buffalo Bills can take the spot at number 2.
They're dropping to number 3.
Number 3, you think Kansas City's jumping above them?
Because Kansas City is going to humiliate Malik Willis tonight. And they're going to be the second best. I mean, listen, dude, you can't have Kansas City's going to have 1 loss. Birds have no losses. The Bills are going to have 2 losses.
Yeah, but the Bills have the Chiefs also have 2 losses, but I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong, but the Bills, they beat the Chiefs. They beat the Chiefs. I don't care what the records are. They beat the Chiefs. And they're not, it's not like the Bills have 4 or 5 losses. They lost their second time, and both of them were AFC East. They dropped the 0-2 in the AFC East, and you know how division games go. like I said before, with the Eagles, it don't matter how bad Washington sucks, they play us good. It don't matter how bad New York sucks, they play us good. But I'm not ready to put the Bills below the Chiefs just yet, simply again because when they played head to head, Buffalo won. Von Miller.
I just got one thing to say. Like, kudos to the Jets defense. They were, to hold this team to only 17 points and do what they did. It's lights out. But I was really impressed with Zach Wilson. Although he didn't have the biggest day or anything like that, there was a drive that really made I was kind of like, all right, he's a young quarterback, but he's figuring it out. Because it was 3rd and 10, I think, and they were in the red zone, in field goal range. He could have easily, tried to force something and, throw an interception or, get sacked and fumbled. But he just, what he did? He just took the sack, he covered the ball up, and he went for 3. He got the 3 points. They kicked the field goal. And then also, I'm really liking the Robinson Carter 1-2 punch. Because although, Carter didn't have this huge game, he had some key runs in that game. Like, there were some key runs where he was just running people over just to get the first down,
Yeah. Yeah, look, he was. And they did the damn thing. I didn't expect it. I did not. If you would have told me to I had to bet my house on a side on that game, I'm not taking there's no scenario where I could see myself choosing the Jets over the Bills. And I don't think there's anybody that really would have, unless you're just a diehard Jets fan. But Von Miller did pick up his 122nd and a half sack to pass Simeon Rice for 20th place all time.
Just in, though, Sidney Jones is signing with the Las Vegas Raiders pending his physical.
Well, the Raiders, we're going to get into them, but they need a lot more than Sidney Jones.
Yeah.
Good for Sidney, but they need a lot more. To wrap this up, the Bills, this is going to be I cannot wait to preview this. I can't wait to watch this, and then I can't wait to recap this. The Bills are playing the Vikings next. That's their next matchup. You got top seed in the AFC. I would say second best team in the NFC. I think that's going to be a hell of a game. And the Jets are going into the bye week. And coming out the bye week, they're going to head over to New England and try to get revenge on the Pats. And listen, they got to be feeling good. Their coach, I read the article where their coach had said that, everyone seems surprised that they would do that they had did what they did, and that nobody in their locker room was surprised. And the coach is always going to say stuff like that, but he's got those guys rolling. There's what they're doing this year is special. It's special. They got to play the teams that are in front of them, and they're beating a lot of the teams that are in front of them. And this is, when you look back on the Jets season, no matter where they finish, you're going to ask yourself, do they have a signature win? And this is a signature win.
Talking about a signature win, I can eat crow about this Buffalo game, but I can go back and remember saying the key for the Bengals to get rolling runs through who? Joe
Mixon.
Fucking Mixon.
And I'm very glad that you that was a nice segue, Tom. That was a nice segue, because that's where I was going next, and I was just about to go there.
The offensive line couldn't block for nobody but Joe Mixon.
I got something for you, because that boy Joe Burrow only got sacked. He only got sacked one time today. But speaking of that game,
how many times does he rush? How many times did he have to rush out the pocket?
A lot. But I think I seen something where they took a sack off the board, but the sack that they took off the board, which would have been his second sack of the game, was going to be his 100th time being sacked in the league.
Yeah. I did see that.
And then you got the greatest quarterback of all time thrown for 100,000 career yards. So
100. I did hear that, but I thought that was a little
postseasons included.
Okay. All right. Well, let's stick with the Bengals and the Panthers. The Bengals came into this game needing a dub to preserve their season, and they were coming off an ass whooping at the hands of the Browns. And it seemed like Joe Mixon got that message, and he went off. He exploded for 153 yards and 4 touchdowns on the ground. He added 4 receptions, 58 yards, and a touchdown through the air. 5 touchdowns in the game, and he was the breakout fantasy star this week. he single-handedly crushed anybody that he played against. And honestly, I would like to see if anybody has that. Fantasy leagues everywhere. How many leagues are out there? There's thousands and thousands of leagues. I want to see a league where somebody had Joe Mixon starting and they lost. And
that'd be crazy.
Every league I'm in where I looked, it looks like Joe Mixon's team won pretty handily. He single-handedly crushed it today. And another big storyline coming out of this one was again, like we talked about, how well the Bengals O-line blocked and for real, how well they protected Joey B. And I know he was running for his life, but at the end of the day, one sack coming from that defensive line. I mean, if you tell any Cincinnati fan, you tell their staff anything like that, if you're going to tell them at the end of this game, Burrow would have been sacked one time, I think they're going to sign up for that. I think Joey B will sign up for that. And they look like they cared for the dude. They did. It was like little brothers back there. He's getting beat up. The media's killing us. We were killing them. And they did their thing. Cincinnati put up their first complete game of the year. And while it was against a struggling team like Carolina, Bengals fans have to be breathing a sigh of relief. We talked about it earlier this week. The Bengals, we asked if this team was dead and gone or if they could turn around their season. And does this change the thoughts? Like, are the Bengals still done, or could this be that get-right game that they needed? Tom, you're shaking your head no.
I told Derek, the Bengals
he did. He told me.
Done.
They're not.
He told me they're not done, especially with not having Jamar Chase and putting up a game like this. Just shows that they're not dead. Their defense was amazing. This score, 42-21, I hate scores like this because it should have been probably 42-0. But, P.J. Walker gets benched. Baker Mayfield comes in. They probably didn't game plan for somebody like Mayfield. And they get the 21, garbage points put up on them. And they probably, played a little prevent after being up so much. But the Bengals were in the driver's seat the whole game. And this is the Bengals team that we know from last year. So if they can sustain this and continue to play like this, get Joe Mixon the ball, find the holes, which is it Joe Mixon or is it a mix of him and the offensive line? Because if this offensive line can block for him and give him holes like he had today, why can't they protect Joey B? I don't understand it. Like, if you can create these holes like this, there's no way why you should be the worst, the worst offensive line in the league.
Well, Tom should be able to talk to that. Tom's the flag football offensive lineman extraordinaire. Listen, I never played offensive line. I did play a little bit of high school. I never played O-line, but I did play tight end. And I could tell you, they say it all the time. Getting off the ball on when you're blocking for the rush versus blocking for the pass. When you're blocking for the rush, you're able to fire off and hit somebody, to where when you're pass blocking, you're taking your first step is backwards and you're getting hit. You're absorbing the hit and you're standing your ground. So, I mean, I agree, Tom. If they run this train through Mixon, at least until Jamar Chase is able to come back, and even then still kind of stick with the run game, bro. I think they're going to be all right. I think they're going to be all right. And it's funny, on the other side, Carolina don't seem like they know what the hell's going on. They're slumping, they're rebuilding, and they pulled the plug on a third-year quarterback out of Temple, P.J. Walker, after he was able to just muster 9 yards in the first half, and he threw 2 picks. And Baker comes in, like you said, and the one thing I don't like about that garbage, Baker came in and he threw some dots, and he did what he needed to do to at least show, like, look, give it back to me. I need to be running this team. And do I think he's the quarterback of the future? No, I don't even think he's going to be there after this year. I think that they're going to figure out a way to get rid of him. I think they're like another Indianapolis. They don't really have an answer at quarterback. They just keep adding these guys that are failing everywhere else, with the exception of P.J. Walker. But they add Baker and Sam Darnold. I don't think any of those 3 dudes are the answer. But Baker did make some good passes. That rushing attack that we seen get going last week and the week, it just wasn't there. There was no rushing attack. Deontay Foreman wasn't able to do nothing. And when you got a quarterback like P.J. Walker, a young guy who's exactly what I said, he's a young guy who doesn't have a lot of weapons around him. You got to get some sort of a rushing attack. And they just weren't able to do it. We will see them again. They got a short turnaround. They're going to go ahead up against the Falcons on Thursday Night Football, and I can't wait for that. That's like game of the year worthy right there. Thank you to the NFL and to Amazon Prime for giving us another slobber knocker in prime time with the Falcons versus the Panthers and the Bengals. They're on a bye week. They're going to a bye week, and this is where, again, that get right game going into the bye. This could be big. This could be a big thing to turn around their season.
Yeah, I'm tired of the snooze fest on Prime. It's just
me too. Me
I'm
too.
getting
Me
over
too.
it.
All right. So
listen, the Bengals coming off a bye, playing Sunday Night Football in Pittsburgh, is going to tell you everything you need to know about them. I'm not saying Pittsburgh offense is anything special. A division game, primetime football at Heinz Field. The Bengals are going to win, coming off the bye, and they're going to head to the playoffs. Don't worry about that, Derek. They are going to get to the postseason. And I'm telling you, it's going to come down to the last game of the season against the Baltimore Ravens. You win and you're in. Who knows?
That's your prediction. I like it. So about that Pittsburgh game, and of course we're going to preview that, but that Pittsburgh game is, I know their offense ain't really that much, but they got a good defense. TJ Watt's back. And those guys fly around the field. So if they're able to put up, and you know them AFC North battles, especially in prime time, it's going to be a low score. It's going to be a dogfight. But if they're able to get out of there with a win and the offense looks somewhat good, you got to the faith has got to be restored in the Bengals, even though they're taking advantage of some inferior opponents. But so moving on to Chargers and the Falcons, this was a game where I told you guys it was going to be. I thought it was going to be the highest scoring game of the week. I thought that these two teams were going to battle it out, and it wasn't exactly that. But I cashed in on the teams. I had Cordero Patterson. He balled out for me, and I had Austin Eckler, and I had Tom. Don't like Josh Palmer. You don't like Josh Palmer. You texted him.
He fucked me up in fantasy because he gave that fucking ball hit right off his helmet and for a fucking interception.
Yeah, but he did enough for me. He did enough. So look, the Chargers did exactly what they needed to get their season trending in the right direction. And while it may not have been pretty, it worked as they defeated the Atlanta Falcons 20-17. And the former Eagle, Dicker the kicker, that's not Eddie Pinheiro right there, baby. He was actually able to sink his game-winning field goal tries. And the Chargers moved to 5-3 while the Falcons dropped to 4-5. And with, as you said, the GOAT, with the GOAT doing what he did, they're no longer in first place in the NFC South. Just like that, gone, done. Bucks are back on top. And it shows you how fast the NFL season, it shows you how fast it can turn around. You go from being second in your division to being first, and everything looked doom and gloom in Tampa, but you can never doubt that guy that they got behind the center, behind center. And like I said, in a game where I would have bet my house that it was going to hit on the over, and it did look that way early in the game. It looked like they were ready. I texted you both, like, look, this is setting up for exactly what I said. This is going to be a shootout. They didn't even combine for 40 points. And despite the lack of scoring, like I said, despite the lack of scoring in this game, they were able to produce some big fantasy outputs. And Eckler got in twice. Cordero Patterson got in twice. And I think he's extremely underrated. I don't think he gets the respect that he deserves in the league. You never hear anybody talking about Eckler in the top running back realm. And I think that, and maybe it's because he's just really effective out of the backfield when it comes to receiving. But as a running back, I just don't think that he gets the respect that he deserves. Tom, what do you feel about your ex-Chargers?
I mean, listen, at the end of the day, the best thing they could have did without any type of weapon on the offensive side other than Austin Eckler, they pulled out a win in Atlanta. They pulled out a must-win game if they want to even contend possibly in the AFC anywhere. They need to win every fucking game.
But Tom, did they really pull off a win, or did the Falcons just hand them a win? I mean, Marcus Mariota overthrew Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts was wide open, running down the middle of the field.
Marcus Mariota sucks.
And then you got that crazy play with the fumble. They fumble. Oh. The Chargers fumble. The Falcons get the ball. Their lineman is running, or their linebacker, I don't even know who it was. It was running down the sideline, doesn't get touched. and fumbles on the 41-yard line. They just gave him the game.
Yeah.
I still thought Austin Eckler was down.
No, I don't think he was down. The first time he was down. When he fumbled the second, well, on the touchdown he was down, but when he fumbled he wasn't down.
I don't know.
He
It
knew
was close.
too.
It was close.
Yeah. Yeah, I was excited for that play, that touchdown where
over.
Yep. And I didn't like that they ruled him down, but he was down. I didn't like it again because I'm fantasy purposes.
Yeah.
We're gonna jump into the comments real quick. Matt Bemis asks us, who do y'all think the Eagles are gonna lose to first? Because of course they're not gonna go undefeated. And I don't know. I don't know. To kind of change directions here real quick. Who do you guys see? Who do you see the Eagles losing to? Are they losing to anybody, or is this going to be a case of they get to maybe 13, 14, 15-0, and then they pull some starters and maybe they drop the last game to Dallas or the last game to, I believe it's New York? Do you see us losing to anybody between now and then?
I mean, anything is possible with the NFC East. I mean, we always go back and forth. So I can see the Eagles either losing to the Giants or the Cowboys or both, especially if we lose to one of them and then it comes down to those games, or lose to somebody else and then it comes down to those last two games. But again, after seeing Aaron Rodgers today, Tennessee, I mean, we could probably stop the only thing they have in Derrick Henry. So those would be like the only two teams I would be afraid of, to be honest.
I'm not afraid of anybody.
I piggyback.
Go ahead, Tom.
I piggyback a little bit on what you said, Derek. I can see us losing in Dallas. What do we play? Christmas Eve. We play Saturday. I can see us losing in Dallas with Dallas getting healthy. I'm not saying that they're a better team. Not saying that. I mean, they're gonna not. It's just it'll be a dogfight, a division opponent. It'll be a dogfight, and I mean, like you said, division games are always tough. I mean, Washington's defense didn't look too bad today, but I mean, I know we play Washington next Sunday. I'm not scared of Green Bay at all.
Hell no.
I mean, I'm not scared of anybody, to be honest with you. I like our defense over everybody's offense in the NFL.
And I mean, I would say the Bears, just on the fact that we used to stink against mobile quarterbacks, but we kind of held Kyler Murray in check when we played the Cardinals. So
yeah, but then you got Hassan Reddick too on the edge, so I mean that only helps you out big time.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. That's the only reason why I would say they have a chance, just because Justin Fields, his legs. I mean, honestly, like I said, I don't believe in letdown games.
Listen,
dude, I believe this team is just whoever you put in front of them, they're going to try to beat.
Knock them down.
I mean, against Washington, you just see how Washington they played. They played the Minnesota Vikings. Now, granted, they're going to be in Philadelphia, so it'll be a little bit easier with our crowd and everything. I think Heineke will be a little shaken up, but I mean, they didn't look half bad today. And again, it's like a division thing.
I mean, they're still a quarterback away.
Yeah.
Who's that? Washington?
Yeah, they need a quarterback.
I think they got their quarterback.
The second Ryan said, the second we all agreed that Wentz is done, he throws a pick to who did he throw the pick to? Safety.
Harrison Smith.
And that
but it's crazy.
Single-handedly lost them the game.
I was watching a game, and one of the analysts said that they had a buddy that was at the game, and he was he's looking at the big screens, when he's walking around, and it's like purchase season tickets now, and the only person that's like on the screen is Heineke. So yeah. I think that's who they're going to roll with next year.
I mean, they're not going to be in a position to get a top 5 pick and maybe go get one of those quarterbacks. So they might have to roll with Heineke. I don't see them rolling with Carson. I think, as I said before this game, I think Carson is done. I think he's toast. I don't think that he's going to get another chance. And I'm not sure that he even deserves a chance, but I am fucking sick of talking about Carson. Taylor Heineke to the wheels fall off if I'm a Commanders fan.
Listen, the Commanders.
I mean, while we're on it, why don't we just jump right into this game? Cousins, he was a game manager. He was above he was above what he normally was today to win this game, Kirk Cousins.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it took some guts to win this game today.
I agree. Tom, what were you going to say?
That, I mean, you also got to think. Well, one, I thought the game was personal for Kirk going back into Washington for the first time since playing for them. But you also got to remember that Washington's without one of the best defensive ends in football in Chase Young. So, I mean, they're only going to get better when he gets back, and they're doing it the right way. I mean, I personally think they know they're not ready to win anything crazy right now, that they're still building Young for the future, and they're not rushing him back off that ACL. So, I personally don't even know if he's coming back this year. I didn't read any reports or anything like that, but I just know they're being smart. They're not rushing him back. And I just want to, on that game, I want to say, I know Curtis Samuel had a better game than Terry McLaurin, Derek. I'll give you a shout out for that. But since you said Terry's going to be the man.
No, I said Terry would have a better game than Justin Jefferson. However, I did say Justin Jefferson would score a touchdown today, which he did. Had 7 receptions, 115 yards.
But
he balled out.
I will say, I mean, Curtis would never make that catch. Like, if that ref gets in the way, he doesn't make that catch at all.
A lot of controversial stuff today.
Forget the ref, though. Regardless of the ref, he shouldn't have made the catch over 2 defenders. Regardless. But the ref was just a bonus, like the ball going the other way. That was it. The ref.
What do you mean, yo? What do you mean? The defender is in prime position to make a play there, and he's making that pick. That's a pick.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm saying that even if that defender is not there, he should have never caught the ball regardless.
Those other 2 defenders were behind him, bro.
Samuel. Huh?
Yeah, but the other 2 defenders, they weren't in position like that other guy was to make the play.
And he should. Curtis Samuel Jr. should have never made that catch over 2 defenders on top of him.
Yeah, and that ref should have never bumped into the fucking defender.
Listen, bro, I agree with you. That stopped the ball from going the other way. I get that, but I'm saying regardless, he should have never made that catch.
Listen, I mean, I understand. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Even with that dude being knocked out the play, there's still double coverage on Samuel. But if I'm a fan of the opposite team there, I'm not liking that. If I'm a Vikings fan today, of course I'm happy we won, but in that moment, I thought that was going to be the game-changing play. I thought that was going to be the one we look back and we're like, yo, they lost this game because of this shit right here. And that was a big play. I don't even know how the NFL could fix that. I don't know how they could, like, that just feels like such a fucked up way for your team to give up a touchdown. And I didn't think it was a touchdown at first glance, but he did get in. And
well, they say that the refs are a part of the field, but come on. I mean, that was kind of like blatant. It was like
but how often does it happen for the back ref to get hit as much as the ref in the middle?
I mean,
that's why it's like was he in a position where he supposed to be there at that time? Like that's
no, but I get at the end of the day, does he know what's? I mean, at the end of the day, what's happening behind you, you might not know. But when you have a guy like Tyler Heineke just heaving the ball up in the middle of the field, that ref should just fucking turn around regardless.
Yeah, as I say, you're a professional ref. Just like these guys are professional football players, you get paid to be a professional referee. So you need to know where you need to be at, and try to avoid that. It didn't even seem like he tried to avoid that from happening.
That's what's so weird about it.
What was funny was I love how, and I want to touch back on this real quick, but while it's fresh on my mind, I love how that happens, and then my man just laid on the ground. My man just laid on the ground, looked like he was ready to take a nap, like nothing happened. Because I didn't see it. I was working on this a little bit. I was talking to Kier. Initially, I didn't see it, and I turn and I see the ref laying on the ground, and then I see the guy, and I'm like, okay, so the ref got in the way, but he got out the way by laying down. And then they showed the replay, and I was like, this dude, bro. Look,
the defender got up so mad, bro.
I would too. You're in a position to make that play.
He got up so fucking mad.
If I'm that, go ahead.
No, guys, finish your statement because I'm just gonna close up with what I think about the game.
If I'm that defender, right? You know that these stats, and some of them could be empty stats or whatever, but these guys rely on stats for their contracts, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I'm him, I'm putting a bookmark on this game with my agent, and I'm like, yo, when we go back to renegotiate, if I finish the season with 4 interceptions or 6 interceptions, and I'm in this tier, I want that shit counted on my record because he was there, he was ready to make that play. And again, you can't fault the refs too much, but I feel like like you said, as a professional NFL referee, you get paid good money. You go through hours and hours of training. You should know, okay, it's not like that. It was what, a 40-yard pass. It's not like it was a 5. Tom, you talk about the front judge, the one that's in the a little bit behind the linebackers. He's got maybe a split second to be like, shit, I'm in the way, to where this dude is 40 yards down the field, right? And you see that bomb going up in the air, and you're just like, oh, I'm gonna watch. Oh shit, it's right at me, and then boom, you get hit. I feel like you run away, you turn around, you watch. They got multiple back judges.
Bro, he wasn't even in position. God forbid there was a pass interference. He wasn't even in position to call it.
No, his back was to the
he didn't see it at all. Like you said, like as soon as the ball is heaved up, I'm literally going like this and watching. This man just started backpedaling.
Yeah, I don't know. We got Josh said Wentz is gonna win them a title.
Yeah,
I hope so. Listen, bro, my bet with Maynard and my pockets would love it. As a matter of fact, I don't even want Wentz to win it with Washington. I want Wentz to win it with anybody at this point. Come back to Philadelphia at this point. I don't give a fuck.
No, Tom, go back to LA.
But
out of here, cuz.
But just real quick. Does anything make you more mad than when your defense holds a team? So it was 3rd and 4, incomplete pass. It's 4th and 4 on Washington's 4. Greg Joseph, he hits the field goal with 1:52 left, and they get an unnecessary roughness. And it just reminds me of Derek Barnett, like when stuff like this happens, because this is Derek Barnett-esque. Like, there's no reason why he's kicking a field goal. You have 1:52 left. You did your job. You held them to a field goal instead of a touchdown. Now let your offense try to go down, either tie the game or win the game with a touchdown. You have 1:52 left with a timeout.
Yeah. That's time.
Well, talking about penalties, who was it that took their helmet off today, right?
Oh, that was yeah. I'm glad you brought that up. I was literally writing that in. So last week, Falcons and Panthers, right? DJ Moore catches that bomb touchdown. Right. Celebrating, he takes his helmet off. He gets a 15-yard penalty. It costs him the game, right? This week, Alan Lazard catches a touchdown. He takes his helmet off, and there's no penalty. Maybe I don't understand the rule. Maybe I'm missing something. But why the fuck wasn't there a penalty there? That should be.
I just think it comes down to some refs are more lenient than the others.
But a rule is a rule.
I think they were trying to say that he was injured. They were trying to say that he was banged up, but when he took the helmet off, it looks like he was like, he was being cocky. Right. Like, yeah. Like, I'm the man type of thing.
Yeah, and I don't understand how.
Can we just put it out there? Aaron Rodgers is going to miss the playoffs.
I have here in my notes, and it says right here real big, it says Green Bay Packers are toast. They are done. So I agree with you.
Put a fork in them. Aaron Rodgers doesn't even look the same this year. He just doesn't. And I know he's throwing to, probably some guys in Tom's Flag Football League, but still, he still doesn't look the same. He threw a bunch of interceptions today, like right to the defender interceptions. Like he's just not the same. They couldn't get the run game going. Like you lost to the Detroit Lions, and he is. I feel like he beats the Detroit Lions every year badly.
Yeah.
Like and even when he doesn't, the NFL gods still want him to win. Like when he heaved up that fucking bomb. Well, I think it was on Thanksgiving. He just heaved up a bomb and. Who caught it? I think it was Rodgers.
It was
you're talking about the Hail Mary? Rodgers,
Hail Mary,
Was it Jordy?
No, it was the other kid. Wasn't Jordy Nelson. Fuck.
We're gonna get it. D, you said that you said you had a last, you had your last thoughts on the Minnesota Washington game. You
No,
want me to
that
go
was
through that?
yeah,
Okay.
that's what it was. Just the bonehead defensive plays like that just it just gets on my nerves. And of course, we needed Washington to win because obviously they don't have a shot in our division. It would have been nice to see them sneak off with that win against the Vikings.
Yeah. So the first one was
Jeff Janis.
Rogers.
Richard Rogers. It wasn't Jeff Janis?
Jeff Janis.
Yeah, Jeff
Okay.
Janis.
Yeah, I was just looking that up because like I said, oh yeah, Nick, thank you in the comments.
Yeah.
Nick came through, my boy. Nick, you missed it. We were talking about Zaire from the Colts, from FLC on the last episode. We were talking about that. But I mean, we could jump right into that. Honestly, my first note on that was it was the helmet removal. I don't understand it. But another thing out of that Lions game, and I don't have too much on the game. It was a shit show of a game. Again,
yeah.
I think that between the injuries and their quarterback, Aaron Rodgers threw two, not only red zone picks, but picks into the end zone where I'm pretty sure both of them he was inside. I know he was inside the 10. I think he was inside the 5 on
he
both.
He threw
of them.
a
and
pick
then,
to rookie Aiden Hutchinson.
That was, bro.
Oh, rookie.
Bakhtiari was wide open. He was wide open, and he did what I did 3 times today on the golf course. I have a nice shot to go. I have I don't know, maybe 30 yards from the pin. And all I got to do, and I have nothing but green in front of me. It's easy, Tom. You could have fucking did it, right? And I pussyfooted it. I hit it too soft, and it went 3 feet in front of me instead of going where I wanted it to go. And that's what Rodgers did, bro. He short-armed it. And, I mean, Bakhtiari's an athlete. At least give him a chance. He bro, if Hutchinson wasn't going to make that play, there was another defender circled around the back. I think he at least reaches out and knocks it off. I just don't understand. He's wide open. I don't know what's up with dude Aaron Rodgers, but it's not looking good in Green Bay.
You can't say much because reports came out today that the Packers were pushing real hard for Chase Claypool before the deadline
and Brandon Cooks,
Aaron Waller, but they wanted Waller in that Adams trade. And if you really wanted Darren Waller in the Adams,
you would have gotten.
You would have made it happen, 100%.
Yeah.
You wanted to get rid of Adams because he wanted out. You got rid of him. You got draft picks in return, and then now the deadline you went 0 for 2 and Chase Claypool. I guess maybe they're asking for too much, but at this point, you haven't drafted a receiver in how many years? Give up the second round pick for a young guy. You got to get. Listen. They know Rodgers is gone. He's done. He is out of Green Bay completely.
Think so. This year?
Well, I don't know. Can he opt out this year with his contract? He has an option to opt out.
He has one of the more special contracts in the league. He got a contract, I'm pretty sure, that says I can do whatever the fuck I want.
Oh, they did nothing for him in Green Bay. Nothing. They got him one of the best receivers in football, and then they trade him and give him nothing.
Yeah, but that's I listen. I will fucking go on the hill, and I'm gonna die on the hill. I think that Davante Adams not being in Green Bay is 100%, not 100, but a lot of that blame falls on Aaron Rodgers because there was, if you remember in the offseason, there was all them stories that he didn't like LaFleur, and that's been nothing but the news since LaFleur has taken over. But there was the beef between him and LaFleur, the beef between him and the front office, and him not wanting to be there anymore, all these rumors, and he wouldn't commit to what he was going to do. And at that point, Davante Adams does not want to stay. As bad of a time as he was having, of course, today he blows up. As soon as I go out and say that he's on the side of a goddamn milk cart and he goes out and blows up. But he doesn't know at that point is Rodgers coming back. I feel like Rodgers could have kept him in there if he would have just told him, I'm coming back. I just want to see what's going on. But maybe he didn't know. But I do feel like a big reason why he's not there, why Davante Adams, of course, is not there is because the uncertainty with Aaron Rodgers. Just think about that team if they didn't have Rodgers. They're not 3-6. They're probably 0-9 if they got Jordan Love playing.
Oh, for sure.
But I think that's the case of what's going on in Green Bay right now. Sort of like what Philadelphia was going through when they drafted Jalen Hurts. and
Yeah.
Carson was still at the helm. And there was talks of they wanted Aaron Rodgers to kind of just teach him the ropes, and he wasn't on board with that. Although I mean he did that with Brett Favre. He was behind Brett Favre for a few years. So it's kind of
Yeah.
weird that he
That
wasn't
he,
willing to do that, because who knows? Jordan Love may have the tools. We don't know, but Aaron Rodgers is going to be a Hall of Famer. Why wouldn't you want to teach a kid to kind of take over a team that, if you're going to be a lifer there, you're going to want to see
exactly.
them do well once you leave.
Jordan
Exactly. And
Love.
that's my
Jordan Love would have beat the Detroit Lions today.
thanks. I think Tom, I think you might have beat the Detroit Lions today,
I'm just
bro.
saying, Jordan Love ain't making 2 picks in the red zone. Even well, then again, Rodgers doesn't normally turn the ball over in the red zone much neither. But Jordan Love would have beat the worst defense in football today. Like you said the last episode, that if any game was a get back game, it would have been this game. Against the
Yeah.
Had
worst
to be.
defense in football, to get momentum going forward, this was the game to score 40 points and get the offense rolling. I mean, you lose.
We said that.
I know you lose Romeo Dobbs early. I mean, I'm not saying he's anything special, but they literally couldn't even. I mean, Aaron Jones going down, they couldn't even get the run game going.
Yeah. So JOB's in the comments. He said Aaron Rodgers is on drugs, plain and simple. I mean, that's
on them shrooms.
We know that. My man has come out and said that. And JOB did shout us out earlier. He said, "What's up, fellas?" So I want to take my time. He said that he was not, he's not going to root for us in baseball, but he was rooting for us in the MLS Cup. And if we can get JOB to root for us in any Philadelphia sport, I'm gonna go ahead and take it. But yeah, Rodgers, man. Now look, as much as I want to kill Rodgers in like bashing him terms, there's a lot of injuries in Green Bay. They can't stay healthy. They got decimated again today with injuries. They're just losing guys left and right. But where I don't show the goddamn sympathy for that is I will always, every time from this point forward for the rest of my life, anytime somebody tells me, especially when it comes to wide receivers or offensive line, anytime someone tells me, well, this quarterback's without all these wide receivers or this quarterback's without I'm going to say, oh, well, because for 2 seasons in a row, I watched people kill when we liked Carson Wentz. I watched people kill Carson Wentz when he was throwing his number 1 receiver was Greg Ward. We talked about Richard Rodgers earlier. There was a point where Richard Rodgers was the Philadelphia Eagles slot receiver. Bro, he was a slot receiver for the Birds. And that's when Lane was out, Brandon Brooks was out, all these different people were out. We had Nate Herbig, who did you see the block Nate Herbig put on that touchdown today? They handed it off. I think it was James Robinson's first touchdown. If it wasn't James Robinson, it was Michael Carter's. But he got the touchdown before the running back did. Nate Herbig, ex-Philadelphia Eagle, drove his defender through the end zone. And we were playing with guys like that. So as much as I want to give Rodgers the benefit of the doubt, and I want to say, look, he's without all these players, I can't, because nobody gave us that with Carson when he was throwing to Greg Ward and when he was throwing to Nelson Aguilar and when he was throwing to goddamn Jalen Reagor. Like, nobody gave that to us. I'm not giving it to anybody.
Yeah, speaking of Jalen Reagor, I would like to congratulate A.J. Brown on passing Jalen Reagor for most career receiving yards as a Philadelphia Eagle.
He probably did that shit in game 1, bro.
I didn't know anything about it until I was listening to 94.1 and they said it.
When did he pass him?
They just passed. He just passed him. He's like 6 something.
Oh shit! Wait, he had Jalen Reagor had 600 yards with us,
like career yards. Yeah, look it up. He doesn't have much.
I'm going to because I have a hard time even believing that Jalen Reagor did that.
I remember somebody had a Jalen Reagor jersey.
Who's that?
You.
I never had a Jalen Reagor jersey, bro.
What jersey were you wearing?
I had 2 Nelson Aguilar jerseys the year that they won the Super Bowl.
My bad.
Yeah, and I got 3 Carson Wentz jerseys, and I got Ben
Nelson
Simmons.
Aguilar. Nelson Aguilar. They both stink. That's why.
Upstairs, I have 3 Carson Wentz jerseys. I have 2 Nelson Aguilar jerseys, and I have 1 Ben Simmons high school jersey that I stole from you.
Yeah, because it didn't fit my
Remember that? It don't fit me either.
Yeah.
But
I I haven't touched my Malcolm Jenkins jersey since we won a Super Bowl.
Look, you know what's
All
crazy?
right, we're right. Good. Go finish your thought. I just want to give you props for something once you're done.
We were talking jerseys, and I have now. I'm not ashamed to say this. Look, Tom D, you guys know me. All right, I'm Wally World to the end of me. And for those that don't know Wally World, it's Walmart. My wardrobe, 90% of it comes from Walmart. I will fucking wear and rock $12 Bobos till the death of me. I don't care about name brand. I would rather have
brand,
money.
baby.
Exactly. I would rather have the money in my account than have the nice shit on my feet, right? And oh my God. Why did I bring this up? I hit a blank real quick. No,
I think it's the jersey you got.
It's the jersey. So I did hit a blank. Again, this is unscripted. We're just coming at you natural here. But this entire playoff run, right? I wore my Bryce Harper jersey, which I bought for $40 off the corner. I'm pretty sure it came from a country that's not here, and it's fake. You can tell it's fake. But again, I don't care. I'm not the type of person. You can have 100 people in front of me making fun of me, and I'm just gonna be like, oh well, right? And then today, I'm going through. It was last night. I'm going through my closet, right? And I'm looking at my jerseys, and I have a crisp, fresh, and I forgot I had it. Authentic Richie Ashburn jersey that sat in the closet for the last month while I wore this Bryce Harper fake ass jersey that wasn't even, it was the powder blues, and the stripes, they're not even like maroon. They're like a mix between this red and maroon. So you could tell that they were fake. There's no patch. This one got the patch and all. Man, I was like, bro, I've been rocking this fake ass jersey all month, and I got this. I forgot I have this jersey here. But God, I'm always down. Listen, Tom calls me Megamind because I got a big head. If you want to give me some props on something and give me a bigger head, I'm all for it.
I mean, you said it last week that Bill was going to make any rookie quarterback look silly, and that's what he did in Sam Ehlinger.
He's not a rookie; he's a second-year quarterback. But
he's same thing.
It's his first time. Yeah, exactly. So
same shit.
Listen,
he
dude,
didn't play last year. He's a rookie
Ben Simmons
quarterback.
won a rookie of the year his second year, dude. I mean, come on.
Sacked 9 times. Score was 26-3. That defense was all over him. I mean, I don't want to stay too much on this game because, again, it was a snooze fest. Mac Jones only had 147 yards, 1 TD. He didn't light the world on fire. Ramondre, I thought he was going to have a bigger game, but he didn't.
He caught the only touchdown of the game, and it was a nice catch. It was a nice catch. Listen.
You think it's Zappy?
He's yes. 100%.
I mean, but if their defense can keep doing that, I mean, I don't see why Mac Jones can't get it done.
I mean, honestly, I think both quarterbacks are. If I had either one of those dudes, I would be pretty upset. You can't go from a guy like Jalen Hurts. You know how great Jalen Hurts is, MVP frontrunner now that Josh Allen stunk it the fuck up today. No, Bailey Zappi is a good story, you know. But Mac Jones, I do feel like you got to rock with Mac Jones because he is accurate. He don't have the strongest arm, but he's accurate, and he's still young. He's still young, and they invested in the Mac Jones. They spent the higher of the 2 draft picks on him. I just feel like I feel like he's the one that they're gonna rock with until he shows that it's just like, nah, we can't do this. But I do want to touch
because last year he looked so good. Like you were like, all right, like you thought that draft class was gonna be one of the best draft classes out, and it's like,
yeah, I'm not sure that I was ever a Mac Jones believer, but I'm gonna take this one. I'm gonna take this one on the chin, right here. I thought maybe, just maybe, Sam Ehlinger could show something. Not against Bill. I told you guys, Bill Belichick is not letting this do. But even seeing this game today, I just lost all confidence. And again, I know it's against Belichick and Belichick's that defensive guru, but I just don't see it, working for him. And I honestly think, I don't know where, listen, you guys have known me since I used to shit in myself in diapers. And the Colts, and it could be because my brother lived in Indy. I was a huge Peyton Manning fan. The Colts were my second team. They've always been my second team. The Colts that I would me and Tom would fight until we were both redder than my t-shirt over Manning, Brady. Like I was a huge Colts supporter. And so I've always had that kind of soft spot.
You're gonna get killed for having a second team.
Well, it's not a second team. I'm never, when it comes, it's Eagles through and through. But everyone, right. I don't give a damn. Everyone watching this stream right now, everybody going to listen to the podcast. The two of you, Derek, don't get me started because I know that New York love that you have, and I'm not even going to get there. But Tom, the Chargers love that you have. I had that Colts love. I never picked the Colts over the Eagles. Not like some people I know, but I've always had the soft spot for the Colts, and I think I always will. So just seeing them, man, there's like no hope at quarterback, at least for the future. Because again, they're like another one of those like I was gonna call them the Redskins, but the Commanders, the Commanders are in a little bit of a better position at quarterback, but I don't see them being bad enough to where, because Jonathan Taylor's going to come back, and I don't see them, and I think that they're going to put Matt Ryan back in. But I don't see them being bad enough to go get like a Bryce Young or one of those young quarterbacks coming out. And I just don't know where the Colts go from here. I mean, do they rock with a nut? Do they try to, I mean, fuck, bro, they traded a first round pick for Carson and they got rid of him and brought in Matt Ryan. We talked about that on the last episode. And I feel like at this point they need to just go find Andrew Luck and do whatever and say, yo, play just once every other week, play once a month, like just do something for us. Because and it sucks because they were looking good. Do you remember that you remember the shootout? The Chiefs and the Colts in the playoffs?
Yeah.
Well, this was before Mahomes. This was what? Andrew Luck and Alex Smith.
Alex Smith.
Yeah.
Yo, and Luck was that dude, bro. And he kind of left he left him high and dry, and nobody's killing him for that. He made the decision that was right for him, but it left Indy in a really tough spot, and I don't see anywhere where they're going to be able to get better, not in the immediate future. And in this one now, of course, they're missing JT. He's one of the league's premier backs. But again, I just don't think that they have a quarterback anywhere on that roster that even with JT could have won that game. And last week, they fired offensive coordinator Marcus Brady. They fired offensive coordinator Marcus Brady. And I think that was just a move to kind of try to save face. And it doesn't look like he was the problem. And I can't help but feel like our boy Frank Reich, he's next. I feel like he's on his way out of Indy. I don't see a way where they could keep him there.
They had the Colts had him and the Colts had the team with Phillip Rivers that could have went somewhere.
Yeah. But that game, man, that game sucked. If you like, and we got the good thing is we got John Price in the comments, and he's a Colts fan, and he's a Sippo guy. He's a Colts fan, and I feel like he agrees with us. I don't know where his team's gonna go. I'm not gonna say our team because I don't have two teams. I told you it was just a soft spot. But the Colts, they go and they go at, and I kind of want to segue into this. And I'm very disappointed. But Pats are hitting a bye week. Then they're won 4 straight games. They're gonna host the Jets when they come out of the bye week in Week 11. But the Colts are heading to Vegas. And speaking of Vegas, they fucking did it again. They did it again, bro. Derek Carr, David Carr. Again, Tom, you said last week. You don't know if it's Derek or David.
Nothing.
Bro.
And they didn't score a fucking point after.
They're always losing. It feels like the last drive. They're always losing on the last drive. That's what it is. And Derek Carr just made some terrible throws. He made some terrible decisions. I mean, Devontae Adams dropped the ball. It was a little behind him, but he dropped the ball. Josh Jacobs didn't get going like we thought he would. ETN balled out, which, I expect him to ball out more. But again, Vegas, I feel like this is rebuild for them.
So Derek Carr went 21 for 36, 259 yards, 2 touchdowns. To where Trevor Lawrence was 25 for 31, 235, and 1 touchdown. Devontae Adams, again, last week I said he was on a milk carton. they couldn't find him. Well, the search party got canceled this week. 10, and it was evident early that they were going to him. He scored what did he have? 3-4 touches on the first drive. He got him in the end zone on the first drive. He had 17 targets today, 10 receptions, $146 and 2 touchdowns.
How many catches did he have in the second half?
I don't think many, because Derek Carr, I believe he had over 200 yards.
I think
in the first
brother,
half.
I think
he had over 200 yards.
He went back on a milk carton in the second half.
Listen, I mean, somebody else got to do something, right? I mean, Foster Moreau was the second receiver. If I'm not mistaken, he's their tight end. 2 catches, 42 yards. Somebody's got to get open. 36 pass attempts, 17 targets go to Devontae Adams. And then listen, coming into this week, we talked about Josh Jacobs. That was something that I highlighted, and something that I came to you for, dude, was Josh Jacobs versus ETN. And Jacobs, he didn't fit the bill. He had 3 catches, 20 yards. He caught all 3 of his targets. He had 17 carries, 67 yards. So he had a very quiet day, to where ETN, he did tote the rock almost 30 times. Well, he touched the ball 30 times, 28 carries, 109 yards, but he punched it in twice. And the Jacksonville Jaguars, the restless Jacksonville Jaguars, who coming back from London, no bye week, they fight back. Like you said, it was this game was ugly early. It was 17-0, and they come back. Dougie
P and the boys.
Dougie P does his thing, and for people that I think the Jags, I don't even want to talk about the Raiders no more. I don't see hope for them in the immediate future. I think they're on their way to getting rid of their quarterback. I think they're on their way to firing their head coach. But Jacksonville, I know that they're what are they, 3-6 on the season now?
Yep.
I know that it's a down year, but if you remember 2016, the first year that Dougie P was in Philly and he had that young quarterback, it wasn't the best season. I think we went 7-9. And the next year, shocked that we made some moves, shocked everybody, and he gets into the Super Bowl and he wins it. Doug is for all Jacksonville, for the state of the team, for Duval Nation, just be patient, because that quarterback you got, I think he's something special. That running back you got, I think, is something special. And that coach you got there, at least for the first couple years. Now, he lost it in Philly, and I don't know if that was a him versus Carson thing, or if it was management versus Carson and he didn't want to get in the middle, but he lost the locker room. But Dougie P gets his guys to show up. He gets his guys to play, and these NFL players, these pro players, they love playing for him. And I think that Jacksonville is heading in the right direction. Now, they've been heading in the right direction a couple times over the last few years, and they just haven't, over the last decade or something, and they haven't been able to do nothing with it. But I do think that team's trending in the right direction.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree with you. I think they have the pieces for it. And again, like I said, ETN getting more carries. I think he's more of a workload guy. He needs more carries to, get more, yards and touchdowns. So now that Robinson's not there, he's definitely going to start balling out. And their defense just looked good. Like, they were flat in the first half. I'm not gonna lie, they were flat. But after that, they just came out with a swag, and they were just all over. They were all over the place. Like, I was watching the game, and I felt like they had double coverage on everything.
Yeah.
Like, everybody was double covered, and even when they weren't, they just were putting pressure on Derek Carr. Like, that this Jacksonville will be a good team next year. I think if they add a few key pieces, they'll definitely they'll be probably a wild card team next year.
I just feel like every year we're getting into that conversation where it's, next year they're going to be good. Next year they're going to be good. But yeah, we did talk about we touched a little bit on, I want to go through just this last game, and we can't skip over this. This was the best game of the day, was the most exciting game of the day, and it was a record-breaking game. These two teams, and I'm talking about Miami and Chicago, they absolutely battled. They put on a show, and the Dolphins escaped the Windy City with a 35-32 victory. And this was a game where I thought the Dolphins would win with relative ease, but the Bears were not about to lay down and accept fate. That fate on their home turf. They battled, and they looked pretty good doing so. And neither team was really able to create too much separation in the game in terms of the scoreboard. Every punch had a counterpunch. And I honestly do. I think this was my favorite game of the week. It was a shootout. And I got some notes here. I got some stuff to go through real quick, but just I want to get what you guys thought on that game.
So honestly, this whole weekend was amazing, and including the early games, the 1 o'clock games. I believe at one point there was three games on that were 17-17.
Yes,
3 games, and they all were under 2 minutes. But I agree, this was my favorite game to watch. It was just there was explosion all over the field. Justin Fields is rushing for 178 yards. He was booking it out there.
I want to touch on that.
I was watching him run, like that first long run he had, and he looked like Tyreek Hill, like he was gone.
Yeah, I want to touch on that real quick. And before I get to there, D, I don't know if you can see the comments, but do you see that last comment that just came through?
Yeah, I've been ignoring it. I've been ignoring it.
Ismar Burgos, my father-in-law, sup Slice, and he calls me Slice because of I think he's referencing my golf shop, but we're not going to get into that.
Because
so
that's what you're gonna do on Saturday.
Not today, boy. Today I was out there looking like, ooh, Tiger Hoods, baby. We were all right today. It was funny. Me and Derek's father-in-law beat him and Dougie Fresh on the course today. It was a good day. But I want to get back to Fields real quick. Fields ran for 178 yards, like you said, and that was the most by an NFL quarterback in a regular season game. He had a 61-yard touchdown, and he threw for 3 scores. He balled out today, and with what he did on the ground, bro, he became the first player since 1950 with at least 150 rushing yards and 3 passing touchdowns in a game. And he was absolutely the reason that the Bears had a chance late. They got the ball on their 28 after Miami punted with a little less than 3 minutes remaining. But on 4th and 10 at the 42, Fields he threw an incomplete pass. He was trying to get to St. Brown, and Chicago, they dropped their 5th game they dropped their 5th out of their last 6 games. And listen, Justin Fields is I know that he's not winning the games right now, but he battled. And I know Chicago fans are looking today. Our boy Cornell, who's in the I know that Chicago is just wishing they maybe had a little bit of a better pass rush on defense. And, that's coming off the heels of trade of Roquan Smith and Robert Quinn, but they didn't have no answers defensively. But Fields in that offense, man, they kept them in the game. And they have the league's top rushing attack, and they continue rolling as they put 252 on the ground today, and they became the 2nd team in the Super Bowl era with 4 straight games of 225 rushing yards. It's wild.
I mean, what a time to be just a football fan. What a time to be a football fan.
Yeah,
I feel like this is the first time in a long time we've had a bunch of young quarterbacks where it's like anybody would, let's say in 2 or 3 years, if everybody stays on the same path that they're on, anybody can win a Super Bowl. Yeah. You got Tua, you got Justin Fields, you got Trevor Lawrence, Jalen Hurts, Justin Herbert. I mean, you got a bunch of all these young quarterbacks, Joe Burrow, Zach Wilson. Like, if they're all trending in the same direction, in the coming years, we're not going to be talking just 2 quarterbacks, 3 quarterbacks, every season.
Yeah. For so long, it was Brady and it was Rodgers and it was, even Russ was up there, like Peyton. Yeah. For so many years, it was just a very top-heavy, quarterback league. And I agree. There's a lot of the league is in good hands going forward, I would say. I love saying it.
You're talking about records. One thing is why I appreciate it. I can't wait to join a winning team. That's the first thing I'm going to touch on. Second of all, that you brought up the Super Bowl era. I believe you could correct me if I'm wrong, but this is the first time
I will
in NFL history in a Super Bowl era that a receiver has 1,100 yards through 9 games.
Tyreek Hill, the cheetah. And no, I'm not talking about Ismar when I say the cheetah.
And what he said at the post-game interview, I thought he was taking a shot at Patrick Mahomes when he said Tua is the best and most accurate quarterback in the NFL.
He has to. That's his guy, and he said it since he got there, and he's backing it up. I mean, bro, that offense. Tyreek Hill is number one in the league in receiving yards, and he leads. I didn't account what
76
Cooper Cup.
catches.
Listen, he leads Stephon Diggs, who's number two, and again, Cup could have passed him. This was before the end of that game, but at the point maybe 2 hours ago when I looked this up, he was leading Stephon Diggs, who was number two, by 197 yards. Do you know who's fourth in the league in receiving yards?
AJ Brown.
AJ Brown?
No, he's like fifth or sixth. Jalen Waddle. They got two guys in the top four, bro. In the top four. And Tua has missed. What did he miss? 2 games?
Yeah.
How many games did he actually miss where he didn't play at all?
Yeah.
Was it 2?
2 games.
And then he got knocked out. He got knocked out of the other game, and he just continues, man.
Them two have more receiving yards combined than a few teams have passing yards in the NFL right now. I'm pretty sure I seen it something like that on Instagram, on Sports Center, something posted it. There's a few teams that had under passing yards than what them two have receiving yards. You can look it up, Rye, if you want.
Oh, I will. I'm the stat guy. I'm gonna go ahead and find it. So Jalen Waddle has.
I seen that at the same time that I seen that there's only one team in the NFL that scored 20 points in every game this year, and it's the Philadelphia Eagles.
Ooh, I like any Eagles stats, baby. I like that. But bro, that team that they got right now. That offense that they have it's hitting on all cylinders. And I asked you, D, last week. I asked you if they were contenders, and with Buffalo dropping, I do think that they are. I think that they're contenders.
Yeah, I agree.
I
agree, and I mean this is just predicated. This is predicated on a week to week basis. But again, I mean the way they played today. The only thing is them letting, the Bears put that much on them. That's kind of like scary. But again, Justin Fields, when he's running like that, I don't think they game plan for that.
So I have the stat, Tom. Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill have combined for 1,916 yards. This doesn't include Tua's other receivers, Mike Gesicki as the tight end, or any of the running backs. They have 1,916. At number 11, lowest, is the Broncos at 1,919. So the Broncos actually have them beat by 3 yards. But outside of that, there are 10 teams that have less yards passing as a whole versus what Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle have. Just them two. And it's the Browns, the Panthers, the Steelers, the Texans, the Ravens, those shitty Dallas Cowboys, the Falcons, the Giants, Bears, and the Titans. That's again the Dallas Cowboys. They're losing the Cowboys, bro. They're losing by 300 yards. They're down on that by 295 yards. So Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle have 295 more reception yards than the Dallas Cowboys have passing yards as a team. And it's just it's crazy to see. Them two are defensive coordinators. Fucking, I know they're losing sleep going up against these two. I mean, you got two speedsters like that, bro. It's just lights out. There's nothing you could do. Let's get a live check-in on the game, Tom. I know you keep looking down. What we got on Sunday Night Football?
3-0 Chiefs.
And they're driving.
It's 3rd-1.
They're on Tennessee's
3-yard line right now.
All right, well, let's touch on the last 2 games, and then let's jump over to some NBA talk. We actually kind of have been ignoring the NBA, and I'm excited. I'm going to release a couple pieces with you guys, maybe this week, next week, on NBA, because there's some dudes in the NBA lighting it up right now. I'm a big fan of Shea over in OKC. I think Luka's killing it. Did you see that Luka highlight? I want to get into that. Let's finish these last 2 games real quick. We got the Rams and the Bucks, and I did not. I fell victim to the podcast world. Unfortunately, I was scrambling towards the end to get some stuff. I did not get to watch the end of the game. I actually jumped on and I had asked, I told Derek that they lost. I was like, yeah, Rams are losing. And then Tom jumps on and is like, yep, the GOAT just did his thing. And I'm like, what? And I go and look, and Brady led them down, and Brady was able to get them back, and they won. They were able to win that game. I don't know how, but they did.
And
And
if I'm not mistaken, Brady got his 100,000th passing yard this game, I believe.
yeah, that's what Tom had said earlier. But so we had come into this game saying that both teams needed to win, and I remember saying that this was more of a must-win for the Rams than it was for the Bucs, simply because of the fact that the Bucs have the weaker division and the Bucs don't have the Seattle Seahawks in their division. But the Bucs go ahead and win, and now they're at the top of their division, to where the Rams, dude, they're looking like they might not even make the playoffs. They're sitting at 3-5, and that offense don't look good. Their defense, of course, still looks good, but neither does Tampa's. So my question, and this is again just right off the top, do the Rams? I know we said this before. Do the Rams make the playoffs? And now with the Bucs, is this the turning point for the Bucs to go on a run and maybe put together a last hurrah for Brady in Tampa? Because I do believe that if Brady continues to play, I think that he's going to go to another team by any means necessary. I think that his time in Tampa is coming to an end. They just look disorganized, but can Tampa make a run? And are the Rams done? Is their season over?
I don't think the Rams season's fully over yet, but what I will say is they need to win now, meaning every game they lose again, just put a fork in them. The thing with the Rams, though, is Matt Stafford keeps force-feeding Cooper Kupp way too much. I'm not saying he's probably the best route runner in football. He's not a great receiver, but he's getting all the targets. I mean, he's getting 9 targets. You go pick up Allen Robinson, who sees 5 targets. Then then Van Jefferson, who could be your third receiver, let's just say, sees 5 targets, and I believe 3 or 4 of them were fly routes that Matt Stafford just wanted to get rid of the ball. You have to get everybody involved. I mean, Tyler Higbee, their best tight end, only seen 1 target. Why isn't he getting involved?
Yeah.
And with the Bucs,
this is a snooze fest game to me. I wasn't interested. Last year, this game would have probably been 35-28, but neither one of them get their offenses rolling, especially the run game. The run games have been terrible. I believe the Buccaneers, they lost 2 of their linemen last year. They don't have Gronk. They don't have 1 receiving touchdown for a tight end this season.
And they had 11 last year.
Yeah.
They had 11. Do they call? They gotta call Gronk, right? Brady gotta be like, yo, bro, look, I'm going through some shit personally and professionally. I need your fucking help. And Gronk can come back and save Brady's life in so many ways. He can come back to the football field and show the fuck up on the field and give Brady someone to throw to. And then he could take him out to the club afterwards and just let Brady get down, because I mean, my boy's a single man now.
Well, what I will say is the Rams go 3 and out. 44 seconds left. Brady's on the sideline. He must have got a text from Giselle saying some bullshit like "I still love you" or something, because he went right out, threw like a 20-something yard pass to a tight end, Cato, and who I've never heard of till today. And then guess what? Cato and first touchdown for a tight end this year goes to the game-winning. Like, I never even heard of this kid ever in my life.
Did you see the touchdown? I mean, look, the Bucs, it was like, I mean, it might have been early 4th quarter, late 3rd quarter, and it had said that they had 4. It was right after, I think, Mike Evans dropped the pass. They had 4 drop passes. And then Brady's leading them down the field. This was the first time inside 2 minutes that they tried tying a game. And Scotty Miller dropped a pass that I don't think my 2-year-old son would have dropped. I don't know how he dropped it. And then, yeah, of course, just as we're talking about that, like I said, I didn't catch the end of the game, but it was Cato, who had 5 catches, 68 yards, and he got that game-winning touchdown. And It's a dub. It's a dub that they needed to have, and it's a dub that they got. Let's jump over to the surprise team of the year, the team that just continues to do what the hell they do. The Seattle Seahawks 31, the Cardinals 21. The Seahawks move to 6-3, stay on top of the NFC West, to where the Cardinals are now 3-6, and they're in the basement. They're right there with the Rams. What's up with Seattle? Is this team? Do you guys think this team's for real? I know we talked a lot about Kenneth Walker III, and he did his thing today. Geno's doing his thing. DK got involved today. I mean, this was a good game for the Seahawks. Last time they beat them in a defensive battle, 19-9. This one, it turns into a little bit of a higher scoring battle, and Seattle escapes with a 4th straight win. That's this team just keeps winning, man.
It's Geno Smith. And if he continues to play like this, he definitely will get comeback player of the year. I was watching this game a lot in the beginning. Again, we are dads, so halfway through, I had to make dinner, but I was watching this game, keeping an eye on it. And Geno Smith, he looked better than just a game manager. Yeah. I was putting him in that game manager status, but he looked much better than that. Some of the throws he was making, decisions he was making, he was even changing the plays at the line, in which we all know the Geno Smith of old would never do that. You could tell that, sometimes when we throw these younger quarterbacks into the fire early, they don't succeed as much. But now that he's taken the back seat and he's been that, second string quarterback on a lot of teams, he's got to learn from other guys. And now he's shining and showing us why he was supposed to be a good quarterback coming into the NFL. And now that he has a running game, he's definitely, doing much better.
A team.
Go ahead, Tom.
My bad. Go ahead. A team will be always. Anytime you get your tight end in the game, you're always going to be effective. I mean, my opinion, one of the most underrated offensive players in the NFL is Tyler Lockett, and I'll go anywhere and say he does exactly what he's supposed to do, and he catches the ball when he's supposed to catch the ball. And when you got DK on one side, who's just a freak, then you get your tight end Noah Fant involved. Anytime you get that involved, it's always going to open up the run game. Always going to open up the run game. They have, like you said, Geno Smith is doing more than being a game manager. He's throwing these receivers open. These receivers are getting open, and you can spread the entire field when you have 3 threats in Tyler Lockett, DK, and Noah Fant, and then Kenneth Walker III just
it's my guy.
blowing up. He's having a great year, and I mean, I'm not going to say they're legit contenders, but I mean they're a team that is scary to play. And Pete Carroll doesn't get enough credit.
That was going to be my question: is can this team actually go ahead and win the NFC West? Now, you know where I stand on this. I'm back in the 49ers. I think that they just have too much talent. I think that the Seahawks' lack of talent, just to be completely honest, I think their lack of talent is going to catch up to them. But do you think that the Seahawks can they be the team that holds off the Niners, holds off the Rams if they're going to make a run, and they don't have to worry about the Cardinals? They've already beat them twice. Cardinals are in the basement. They're it's thing of the past. You got to worry about them. But can the Seahawks actually win a division?
I think they have a chance. And the only reason why I have a chance is because, the only reason why they have a chance is because that division is not, there's not like a team that just sticks out at you like, oh, they're the best, they're going to win. Yeah, the 49ers have a little bit of, they're a little bit more talented, but again, they have Jimmy G at the helm. I mean, I would say him and Geno Smith this season are similar. I would say they are the same. Of course, having C-Mac there, they'll have a little bit more versatility coming out of the backfield. But you look at the receivers, and I mean, the Seahawks may have the better receivers out of them. And defense-wise, Pete Carroll, he always has a good defensive scheme, for his defense, whether they have a bunch of names or, they don't. But just to touch on the Cardinals team, I think that team is just depleted. I mean, Zach Ertz catches a touchdown today. There's no celebrate. Like, I felt bad for the guy. It was just so sad. He just walks off the field, takes his helmet off, and sits down. Like, No
Send my
celebration. Didn't look happy. It was crazy.
send my boy home.
Yeah, that's what I was told. I was watching the game and I was like, it's I feel bad for Zach Ertz.
So
Yeah.
let me
And
ask
then
you a
and then
question.
and then of course my wife says I feel bad for Zach Ertz too because he should be here. And I said,
Yep.
but Dallas Goedert's better. She was saying not for that reason.
Nah. Yeah, I agree. Go ahead, Tom. What's your question?
Why is this team playing better for Gino than it played for Russ?
Listen, I looked at that line today. That line is so much better than when Russ was there. And again, it could just be that ego thing. I think Russ he goes out here to be this great guy. You always see him in the headlines for doing great things. But
Broncos Nation.
sometimes,
Let's
but
ride.
yeah, I mean, and I like Russ as a person. You see him doing the St. Jude's cancer stuff. Like he looks like a great guy. But I mean, so is Carson. But in the locker room, it's not always the same. They could paint this pretty picture, but who knows? Because that line, that looks like a good line, and I don't think they changed many pieces from last year. So are they playing more for Gino than Russell? I think maybe that could be the case.
So just to go back to Gino real quick, maybe this is Gino. Maybe this is the Geno Smith. I know this was the Geno Smith. John Price said this is the Geno Smith everybody was expecting out of West Virginia, but maybe this is the Geno Smith that we should have been expecting from the beginning. Because I mean, just to be completely honest, before he started off his career in 2013 with the New York Jets, and we know how much of a dumpster fire that team is. And he didn't have a great year: 12 touchdowns, 21 picks, 3,000 yards, and he led them to an 8-8 record. He came back the next year; he led them to a 3-10 record. Now, those type of stats are very telling. Okay, you can't just ignore what he did and what he didn't do. But then the last 2 years in New York, he didn't really get a chance. He only started one game. Then he went to the Giants and started one game. Then he was in LA and Seattle for the next 2 years and did nothing. He was out of football in 2019. He didn't play at all. And then the last 2 years in Seattle, last year he only started 3 games. And then this year he's actually getting that chance again. And I just feel like he's the quarterback, like you said. People wrote him off, and he didn't write back. And maybe now he's just getting that chance, and maybe he could turn that corner and be that quarterback that everyone expected. Like again, I'm not expecting this dude at this point to become the next great quarterback, right? But could he lead this team to a playoffs? Absolutely. I'm a firm believer. I go back and forth on it for real. I don't think he's going to win the NFC West. But when you get out to a 6-3 record in a conference where a lot of those middle wild card spots are going to be are fighting between teams that have 4, 5, and 6 losses right now, 4 and 5 losses, you put yourself in a good position to really make that jump and get to the playoffs. And once you get to the playoffs, anything happens.
And it's crazy because I watched him, in the game today, and he had that pocket presence. He didn't try to, like with Russ, I feel like he kind of leaves the pocket a little bit too soon. Geno Smith stood in the pocket and tried to, go through his progressions and find his reads. And
Yeah.
I'm looking up a stat right now, and I'm not surprised. He leads the league in completion percentage with 72.7, almost throwing 2,000 yards on the year. So,
He's
and I mean, he only turned the ball over 3 times. Aaron Rodgers did that today in just one game. So these are the differences between Geno Smith of this year and years prior.
You know who else has only turned the ball over 3 times this year?
Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts, baby. All right, so let's flip the script a little bit. Let's jump over to the NBA because again, we've kind of tried to talk the NBA on the last show. I tried talking to NBA
Do you want to just touch on a preview real quick of the Ravens game?
Oh yeah. Let me not forget our Baltimore guys. Derek, you want to touch on it, brother? You go ahead and touch on it.
Pause.
Well, the only thing I want to touch on.
Press play.
The only thing I want to touch on is I think the Ravens made a mistake in not signing Lamar Jackson. Remember when you said how D-Hop he's out for blood on the NFL? I think Lamar Jackson is out for blood on the Ravens, and he's kind of going to, smack him in the face because he's having a stellar year. And I think I'm just gonna say that they keep rolling against the Saints. The Saints are high off that 24-0 victory against the bum ass Las Vegas Raiders, who stink. So I think the Ravens are going to get going, and I think Lamar has a big game.
I think Lamar is about to run the pockets of the Baltimore Ravens if they want to keep him. And it's just one of those situations where he bet on himself, and up until this point, he's killing it. He's the only thing driving that team forward. Of course, they have a chance. They're right in the thick of it to win the AFC North, and he's doing it with little support and cast. I mean, they got rid of Hollywood. Rashad Bateman goes down. Their number one receiver is looking like it's Devin Duvernay. I mean, of course, they got Mark Andrews. That's that dude, but receiving wise,
he's hurt.
He is. Yep. And but Duvernay is the one that's stepping up, and Baltimore, bro. I love the move that they made with Roquan Smith. I think that is a hell of a move. Baltimore's always been a defensive first kind of team, but they just, oh my God, that team, if they make the playoffs, that might be one of the more impressive things. If they make the playoffs, if they're even close to playoff contention this year with how many injuries they've had, that is what's going to drive that bag up for Lamar. And honestly, I think he deserves it.
And I think he walks. I think he walks. There's just too many teams out there, and I just think that the Ravens are disrespecting him.
If he walks, I want to call my shot right here, right now. We're months away from that. If Lamar walks, I got a team that he's going to, and that team's going to be dangerous. Lamar Jackson, if he does not re-sign with the Baltimore Ravens, is going to be in Detroit. He's going to the Lions. He's going to play with those. They got a young, and that makes the Hawkinson move. If that were to happen, that makes the Hawkinson move even worse. But hey, they got some draft capital. I think that he could stay. But if he leaves, if he leaves, I see him going. Because again, it wasn't Detroit in one of the teams in one of the lists that came out that he wanted to go to those teams. It was Philly, it was Detroit, and there was another team. Philly got their guy. Philly's going to go ahead and pay Jalen Hurts. I think that Lamar could end up in Detroit, and I think that's something that Lions fans would welcome, and I think that's something that could maybe turn that franchise around. Because again, we talked about it earlier. They're just going the wrong way.
But I think no matter what, if the Ravens want to keep him, once you keep him, they are going to have to overpay for him. That's the only way they keep him. And
he wants that. He wants that Deshaun Watson contract. He wants 100% guaranteed.
Yeah, that's tough.
He wants every penny guaranteed. That's his contract. That's why they didn't negotiate and they didn't get it done, because, I mean, and I'm surprised, like you said, he's gambling on himself, because one freak injury, God forbid it doesn't happen, fucks up his entire contract.
Yeah. And speaking of that dude, we're gonna have a lot to talk about with him. Not this Thursday's episode, next Thursday's episode, because he's coming back. He's about to week 11 is, and I think doesn't he come back against Houston?
Yeah,
in Houston,
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah, so I think it's Houston. Yeah,
that's gonna be a hell of a storyline. Let's jump over to the NBA, and the first thing I want to get into, and listen, I was a huge Kyrie fan in 2016-17 when he played with the Cavs. I'm just like you, Tom. I'm a big LeBron fan. I was a big Kyrie fan. I love everything that he did when he was in Cleveland, with the exception of the end. And he leaves and he goes to Boston, and I hated him because he was in. That's where my hatred for Kyrie started. And I wouldn't say end it, because I don't like him now that he's on the Nets, because I hate them too. But I think he falls product for me. It falls product of which teams he's with, which is why I dislike Kyrie. But as a person, I don't mind Kyrie. If he were to go to another team that's not in our division, I would think nothing of it. But Kyrie, I'm never gonna die on the hill of defending Kyrie. But the Nets have issued 6 conditions for Kyrie to return to the team, and I want to read them off. This is coming straight from Shams. He must apologize and condemn the movie. He must donate $500,000 to an anti-hate cause. He must go through sensitivity training, anti-Semitic training. If I'm saying that wrong, whatever.
No, anti-Semitic. You're right.
Okay. And it says meet with ADL and Jewish leaders, and he must meet with Joe Tsai to demonstrate understanding. Now, One of the more famous quotes from Kyrie Irving, Sir Kyrie Irving, is "Suck
The
my
world
dick."
is flat.
The
No,
Earth is flat.
no, it's
That's what I
yeah.
was
Well,
gonna say.
besides that, was when he told the fans when he was in Boston, SMD, and I am fully. Not only am I fully expecting, but I would support. Listen, I don't support what Kyrie said. I don't think many people do. We don't back him for that, but suspend the guy, fine him, or trade him and get rid of him. But to give him a list of this is a professional athlete, somebody that you know is he's not, does he apologized for it, but Kyrie's not going to back down from what he said. And to give this dude a list of demands to come back to a team that he doesn't even want to be on. He listen, all he did, he didn't make the film. He did, like Ismar said, he didn't make the film. He didn't supply the platform to watch it. And he did what he did. And they're giving him a list of things. That's such a childish thing. Like I give my children, listen, you want to get out of timeout? Here are 6 things you need to do. Kyrie, I think he's going to tell them SMD, trade me, or I'm done with the league. What do you guys think about the Kyrie situation? I think it's a joke. I think it's again, I don't agree with anything that he said or anything like that. I'm not defending Kyrie. I'm just talking about the list of demands. I think it's an absolute joke. I don't understand it. And I mean, at that point, if you're gonna put this dude through hoops, just get rid of him.
What I think is I'm tired of the politically correct thing to do being brought into sports. I'm tired of politics being brought into sports. I mean, they say, oh, they don't bring politics into sports. Then why do the champions have to go visit the president? It just doesn't make any sense to me. It just doesn't. So if they have this platform, they've waited their whole lives. They worked so hard to get to these teams. And if they have this platform where they have a million, a couple million followers, and they feel a certain way, this is America, freedom of speech. So now we're pulling this guy's rights. He didn't say anything about the movie. All he did was repost it. And now they're claiming anti-Semitic and all this stuff. It's like you can't. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Kyrie just stands his ground and just doesn't play the rest of the year. I mean, I can see him doing that because there's no reason why he should have to, adhere to this list of demands from an organization.
Yeah.
That just doesn't make any sense to me.
Kyrie, the 6 things Kyrie should say is the same 6 things to everything. To all 6 demands is to go fuck yourself. 100%. He can say whatever he wants to say. Other athletes can use the NBA platform for things that benefit them, but because this doesn't benefit the NBA, all of a sudden it's a bad thing. Kyrie, like Ismail said, Kyrie didn't make the movie. All he did was share it. Nobody else is getting bashed for it. I mean, we watch multiple movies about history and have never been. And I could go online and watch them again right now on Netflix or Amazon or Hulu. But because Weapon.
No, I was gonna say, so you don't think that if you had a platform like Kyrie, right, and you went to watch those movies, and you shared that out, and you reposted it and you put it out to the world like that, it does look like. Listen, you retweet things. You don't retweet things that you condemn. Unless you're doing it and you're writing a message. So if you just kind of retweet that, and I'll be the first to say I'm lost on the whole Kyrie thing. I haven't paid too much attention to it. It was just once this list of demands came out, everyone's talking about it, obviously, but once this list of demands came out, I was just like, bro, like the dude didn't like at that point. It's you guys are just being a little crazy. Like suspend them, fine them, like I said. But Tom, if you had that type of platform and you were to go watch one of those, history films that you said, and you share it like that, I mean, you'd be catching some slack too. A lot of
when he shared it, what did he say when he shared it, Derek?
No clue.
I honestly, I haven't paid much attention to it because when stuff like this comes out, I'm really not interested in it, to be honest. I'm more interested in why do the Nets stink right now? That's what I'm interested in as a fan. I really don't care what you watch, what your beliefs are, whatever you think. That's you. I'm not gonna go against you and go on Twitter and say, "Oh, I think this is wrong," and No, everybody has their own beliefs, and that's just their beliefs. If they feel that way, let them feel that way. Now,
Yeah.
again, when do I believe that when Kyrie wasn't eating and stuff like that I think that was affecting him basketball wise. But that's again, that's his beliefs. I'm not going to speak bad on somebody's beliefs. It's a belief
Yeah.
system that they believe in. So go ahead. Now, again, all this is affecting the locker room essentially. I'm assuming, which
Mhm.
why he has to is one of the demands he has to apologize to Joe Tsai.
No, he
Is
has
that
Yeah.
to
one?
sit.
He has to meet with
No,
him.
he has to meet with him, and it was like he has to meet with him and
And
demonstrate
understand or something.
understanding. Like you
But
have to
this
demonstrate.
but this is
That's
the same Joe Tsai that Kevin Durant said me or him. Kevin Durant really literally told the Nets organization to pick me or Joe Tsai, and they still
yeah.
have this guy. So
Well,
I mean, why he should have to go and meet with this guy? This doesn't make sense.
And another crazy thing is my opinion is telling a grown man what he has to do with his money. Making
yeah,
him donate. I mean, listen, he has the money, don't get me wrong, but telling him he has to donate $500,000 to an anti-hate, like he doesn't have to donate a fucking penny if he doesn't want to. It's his money.
yeah, yeah. Listen, I'm not like I said. I'm not here dying on the hill of defending Kyrie. I don't understand. There's certain things that it's just like, bro, your power is not to give this dude a list of demands and say, if you want to play on this team, he doesn't want to play on his teams. It feels like you're creating a situation like a Ben Simmons situation where you want the dude to be like, I'm not coming, and you guys stop paying him, and then it goes to court and all this bullshit. At that point, it's like, Kyrie, this shit needs to stop. Or because I'm not saying he's the problem, but he's been a part of a problem when almost in every place that he's been.
Yeah,
It's like drama just follows him. And I think some of it he welcomes. I think some of it is just maybe people, once that kind of that downhill shit that, once the shit starts rolling, the snowball starts going, shit just piles on, and it becomes easier to dislike somebody or something like that. But Kyrie just has this drama that follows him, whether it's with not wanting to play with certain teammates or not wanting to play with this coach, him and Steve Nash not getting it, or him telling Boston, I'm going to be there, I want to be here, and then leaving, and then, or him not wanting to play with LeBron. Like, there's just always something that seems to follow Kyrie.
Has any
but
players
that's enough.
come out and said anything?
I think
In a
LeBron said something. I think LeBron actually came out with a statement.
Yeah, LeBron came out and said he condemned what Kyrie said.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's expected. LeBron's just, he's one of those athletes that knows, like, okay, this is my platform, and it's going to benefit me so much more if I don't say dumb shit and I don't piss people off. Like Kyrie, I seen somewhere that somebody said Kyrie needed a wake up call, and somebody else was like, this is it, because now he's got this shit with the Nets. There's issues now with him and Nike's collaboration. And once you start losing, once you start losing these sponsorships, you start losing these other deals that are bringing in you the money that the NBA is not giving you. It's hitting them in a different way, and maybe he comes out and I don't see Kyrie backing down from what he said, or from his beliefs. Like we seen it in that interview we did last week, where he was going back and forth with the reporter. He's not going to back down. And listen, stand on your beliefs, bro. I'm not here to tell Kyrie, yo, back. I'm just, at this point, if I'm Kyrie, bro, I'm going to the Marshawn Lynch route. I'm just here so I don't get fined. I don't want to say a word.
Listen, he's rich. He's made a shit ton of money. He has nothing left to prove in the NBA. He can hang it up right now. I mean, unless after this, obviously, even if he was a Hall of Famer, they won't put him in now because of this whole situation. But at the end of the day, what?
You think that this is something that would hinder a Hall of Fame career 100%. For Kyrie?
I don't think so.
Do you think dudes like do you think Ben Roethlisberger gets into the Hall of Fame?
Well, that's a different situation. He continued to play. I'm saying if
Kyrie retweeted something and had beefs to where Roethlisberger had a little bit of a different situation. And I know it's a different league and whatnot, but
what I'm
I don't
saying
think
is I'm saying they're giving Kyrie demands. And if he says, fuck you, I'm not saying him, I'm not playing no more, and let's just say the Nets don't trade him, he never plays in the NBA again, of course this is going to hurt him. In the Hall of Fame aspect is what I'm saying.
Well, in that regards, I agree because I don't think Kyrie has done enough to be worthy of a Hall of Fame spot.
True.
Not at this point. If he were to continue playing for the next 5, 6, 7 years, I think Kyrie is talented enough. I think he's a hell of a basketball player. I think that he does get there. He has one of the biggest shots, right? He has one of the biggest shots in my opinion, the greatest finals of all time. He has the shot that delivered
better
Cleveland
than Ray Allen.
Yeah, I mean, bro, the Ray Allen, it was obvious. I mean, Ray Allen's was Game 7, right? That was a.
I thought Ray Allen's was the fourth.
I think it was a Game 7. Yeah, it was the fourth Game 7.
And all the thing, it was the whole thing where he stepped out of bounds, wasn't it? But they didn't see that. They didn't call it.
Yeah, but Kyrie's. Am I wrong in saying Kyrie's was Game 7?
No, it was. It was over Steph Curry.
It was over Steph in a series where they came back from 3-1 down, and that helps cement the legacy of arguably the greatest player of all time. Like Kyrie is nobody's doubting his what he's done on the court. I just think at this point it's like, dude, just all right, you guys are killing the dude. You guys are condemning him, and as the Nets, you guys are not siding with him, but to give him a list of demands, it just feels a little childish. It feels like something that it's kind of like, bro, what the hell's going on? But listen, whatever happens. I want to shift over and kind of jump on to something we're a little bit more familiar with, which is our Philadelphia 76ers. They just lost. Who'd they lose to? They lost to the Knicks over the weekend. Was that the game I saw? I haven't. I'll be honest. They had that slow start. I've been so wrapped up in the Eagles and the Phillies and this that I haven't paid too much attention. Of course, I watch all the highlights, but two things I want to get on with them real quick is the James Harden injury. He's out for a month. I personally think that I'm not looking for Embiid to step up. I'm not looking for Embiid to be. I know what Embiid can do. I'm interested in seeing over the next month how this team is different without James Harden in the aspect of Tyrese Maxey carrying the ball up, Maxey being the one that runs this offense. How do you think the Sixers, either one of you, whoever wants to go first, how do you think the Sixers are going to fare the next month? Do they turn it around? Or is this and it's going to tie into my second question, is this the beginning of the end for Doc Rivers?
Well, I think it's been the end of Doc Rivers. I think they're tied up in that contract and they're tied up in his name. They think just because he's Doc Rivers, he's going to do something. But in all honesty, I don't think Doc is that good of a coach. I don't think he puts players in positions where they're going to succeed. And I am excited. I never wish. I never hope for injuries for, any player, especially a player on my team. In the likes of James Harden. James Harden's actually been doing pretty good this season. So I was kind of bummed to see him. But again, I am excited to see what Maxey, how Maxey fares at the helm and if he's capable of actually running this team, because he's an electrifying player. And when I was watching that Knicks game, like when I was following it, because, it's been crazy with the Phillies and the Eagles, so I really haven't really sat down to really watch Sixers basketball like that. But I just looked at the stat line, and if I'm not mistaken, there was like 7 people in double digits in that Knicks game. Now, again, they were up about 10 points with, I believe, 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter. They come back. Jalen Brunson kind of brought the Knicks back. But Maxey just looked good. And, I'm ready for Doc to go now, to be honest.
Me too.
I think if Doc goes now, maybe you put, Cassell as the interim coach.
Sam Cassell as the interim. Yeah. No, you move him up to – bro, I've been waiting for Sam Cassell to be the head coach of the Sixers since I can't even – last year I wanted him as the – I'm very much – I would say out of the – well, at least with me and Tom. Tom's always like, get rid of this person, get rid of that person. I'm very like – Carson. I defended Carson to the end. Ben Simmons. I defended Ben to the end. I got our guys back, and I defended Doc, and I'm done. I'm absolutely done defending Doc Rivers. I've never. You see the meme go around about how the 2008 Boston Celtics are that team that like nobody has milked a single championship like that team has, and it rings true for Doc. He's of course he's got the stature. He's been here. He's been in the league forever, but it's like, Glenn, what have you done, bro? You won that championship there. You had multiple opportunities, and you had a squad in LA with the Clippers, and you weren't able to do nothing. You had multiple opportunities, and you've had good teams here in Philly, and you haven't been able to get out of the second round. At this point, I mean, when can we look for? I mean, is it coming in a week? Is it coming in a month? And if that happens, do you see this being something like, is this like a Phillies and Joe Girardi situation where Topper comes in and kind of takes over?
I hope so. Two, Doc Rivers' substitutions is like equivalent to fucking Andy Reid's time management.
Terrible.
It's fucking horrific. I mean, he's a guy that Maxey is in the game 7 minutes. He's shooting fucking 7 for 8, and he'll fucking take them out. Like, to me, I don't know. I never coached NBA. I mean, I never coached basketball, period, obviously. But I always thought you fucking ride the hot hand. Meaning, Maxey's a young guy. He's not a big guy like Joel. I can understand Joel being on specific times that he comes out of the game. But a guy that – how old is Maxey? 22, 23? If he's that old? 21?
Yeah.
If a guy's in there for 8 minutes and he's shooting for 7 for 8, I mean, you don't take him out the game. I mean, he stays in the game 100% all the way.
I agree.
But Doc's the type of guy, because he played 8 minutes, he wants him to get that 4 minutes rest. He takes him out the fucking game just to start him with 11 minutes left in the second quarter. I just don't think that makes sense to me.
Yeah, we've been going back and forth on Doc for years at this point, and it just feels like we're just waiting for the Sixers to get a good coach. It was Brett Brown, and we know how that went. I feel like the last decent coach we had was Doug Collins, and then Mo Cheeks. Like, they were the coaches. I like those coaches, and they may not have gotten much success here for us, but Brett Brown was he was a habitual loser. He was the whole process error, and then Doc has come in, and you got arguably the greatest center in the league, and you do nothing. And then you have like I just look back to that team when Brett Brown and the Sixers chose Ben, and they pretty much chose Ben and Brett over Jimmy Butler. And I wish we could have a redo. I feel like that team that we had with Butler and all them, that Toronto series, I feel like that was the team that we had to go ahead and win a championship. And ever since then, man, go ahead.
It sucks because Brett Brown actually isn't a bad coach. I think he just adopted that loser, that loser culture.
It didn't matter.
That wanted him to lose all them years.
It didn't matter if we lost. It was like Philadelphia turned into, and this isn't Philly, bro, but Philadelphia turned into, okay, we can accept the losing. It's like people were encouraging it. Like, we knew the team was so bad that it was like, whatever you have to do to get this team good again, go ahead and do it. And that was. I mean, they don't like the T word, but it was tanking.
Yeah, me and you, right? We had season tickets when we had to go watch Jakar Sampson and my boy Allen and all them guys. Basically, the team was terrible. I believe our tickets were like $250 at the time per ticket for the whole season. And then once Embiid and these guys come, I think they raised it up to like $2,500.
So it's funny. The other day, I don't know if I was on, maybe it was my Snapchat, but it was like one of those time hop things where the old pictures come up. I think it was Facebook actually. And it came up the night that we had went and they introduced the rookies, and it was actually Embiid's second year, but he had never been introduced to the Philly crowd or nothing. And we got videos, me and you got videos and pictures from when they introduced Embiid, and it was Embiid. And then who was the dude? We were sitting next to his brothers the whole night. He wound up getting traded to Houston. Was it? It wasn't. Oh my God! It's killing me. I'm gonna figure out who it was, but I remember that we were sitting there.
Point guard, was it?
Not Robert Covington, was it?
No, not Rocco. I'll find it. But I remember that shit like it was yesterday. I tell people that all the time when people, when they ask, when we talk about Sixers, and I'm just like, look, me and my cousin, we had, and what's funny is not funny, but we'll get to it. But me and you had season tickets when that team was winning 9 games a year, bro.
Yeah.
And we went to more than enough games. We couldn't sell those tickets. Nobody wanted them. And I think I went to like 20 Sixers games, and we actually gave Tom tickets that year. And Dum Dum, isn't that when you fell and broke your ankle?
Yeah.
So Tom fell at the Wells Fargo Center. Coming out, it was snowing, it was icy, and he fell down the steps and broke his ankle. Did you get surgery?
Nah.
Regardless, if that would have happened to me, Tom, I'm laying on the ground, my neck, my back, it all hurts, and I'm trying to own the Wells Fargo Center.
Yo, let's see if you can remember who they played. I remember like it was fucking I remember like
the
it was
Warriors.
Yesterday. Yeah.
I remember it was you and was it you and
Jacoby.
Eric? It was Jacoby. It was Jacoby. All right, let me see. I can't. It wasn't Jeremy Grant. KJ McDaniels, D.
Oh yeah, KJ.
It was KJ McDaniels.
Yeah,
and
number 14,
so when they were
KJ
introducing
McDaniels.
it, we're sitting there and these dudes are talking. I don't know if Derek started a conversation with them or I did, but we were talking to these dudes. And we're like, yeah, like I think we had asked him who's your favorite player or what, and he's like, oh, KJ McDaniels, and we're like, who the fuck is KJ McDaniels, bro?
He was our favorite player that season. Now
it was his brothers. He got 2 brothers, and they were there, and he turned into me and Derek's favorite players that year. We would always be like, yo, we met his brothers. We were chilling with his brothers. We were talking to his brothers.
Dude, and he always had like a nice dunk or something, and see guys like that, you want to see them do good, but they always.
I'm interested.
Is he still in the league?
No, he hasn't been in the league since 2018 with the Thunder. He's actually playing. He actually played last year for the NLEX Road Warriors.
Okay,
I'll give you $20 if you tell me where they are.
Who is it?
The NLEX Road Warriors. He actually. Oh, and he played for the Killer Threes, so he's actually in the Big Three now.
That's great.
So the NLEX Road Warriors is of the Philippine Basketball Association.
Okay, nice.
So he hasn't been in the league since he hasn't been on a major league roster since he was with the Nets in 2017, and then he was with the Oklahoma City Thunder's minor league teams, and he's been out of the league since then. But it's just a funny story because KJ was that dude for us. Last 2 things I want to get on is, and this one's real quick. I just want to bring it up. I don't have the highlight video. I wish I did, but did you guys see that De'Aaron Fox buzzer beater, that game winner last night?
No, but I'm gonna watch it.
Go check that shit out. He pulled up from the logo.
The logo? Oh yeah,
the logo. It was crazy. And the last thing, and I don't want to spend too much time on this because I don't want to give this dude too much airtime, but I have a couple of questions. Miles Bridges of the Hornets, he pleaded no contest, so he's going to avoid jail time. We know what happened. You guys specifically know my history, personally, and how much I'm against DV. I don't support anybody who's ever once you've fallen victim of domestic violence, you get locked up for that. And what he did to that woman was terrible. I will never give you another chance.
I've seen that video. It was bad.
You're a scumbag piece of shit type dude that, like, I see you. I want to fight you on sight. But leaving the emotions out of it and thinking purely from a basketball perspective, do you see either the Hornets or any team? Because remember, he was in line to get a big fucking bag. He turned down a contract, and he was ready to sign a huge. And he wasn't even looking to going back to Charlotte, or I forget who the other team. It was the Pistons. He was rumored to go to the Pistons and get a big contract there, and then boom, this happens. Do you see any team, whether it's the Hornets, the Pistons, or anybody, signing Miles Bridges?
No, and I just simply go predicated off of Ray Rice. It's a Ray Rice situation, and the way just watching that video just disgusts you. It does.
Yeah.
And I don't think any team can watch that video and say, I want this type of person on my team. He's a
No.
very talented young man too. He had
Yeah,
everything in his hands,
he's a
but even
baller.
for him to think that was okay, um, I just don't see a team picking him up and just taking that chance. Because again, if I'm going to dump over $100 million into somebody, because I think he's $100 million plus player, with the season that he had. I don't think I'm taking that chance with this happening again and him potentially facing criminal charges.
Well, even that, like he's definitely not going to get the contract that he was in line for. This is a who was that? Dennis Schroeder. Now Schroeder didn't do. Was it Schroeder that turned down the bag and then went and or Oladipo did it? Schroeder did it. Like this isn't one of those situations. They didn't do what he did, but he's not getting anywhere near 100 million, even if he's worth it on a basketball court. No team. I mean, this is a PR nightmare waiting to happen. But we say that, right? I do say that, and it's kind of tongue in cheek because I thought the same thing about Deshaun Watson. I was like, nobody's going to give this dude a chance, and he got $250 million guaranteed. Tom, do you see any way in which this dude gets back in the league?
One, he shouldn't get back in the league, and two, like you said, took the words right out of my mouth with the PR backlash. I personally think that he'll be a distraction in any team's locker room. I mean, I was surprised if any players want to play with him. I mean, no player should even condone that.
No, I mean, a lot of these players are married. They got wives, they got mothers, sisters, they got daughters. Like you can't see what happened there and then want somebody like that with you. It's tough. Listen, this week I do want to get into, maybe on Thursday's episode, I want to get into the MVP race, way too early MVP race in the NBA. And we have something else that we're looking to do. A couple of years ago in a sports group that we're all in, we did a all-time NBA draft. We took 10 guys and we put them into a pool, right? And everybody, it started 1 through 10, and it's reverse snake order. And you draft every player who's ever been in the NBA is in the draft. And we draft 10 teams and we vote on whose team's the best. And we're going to do that in a couple of weeks. That's something that we think that, is going to, we would love everybody to get in and vote once it's done. If you want to partake in this, if you want to be one of the guys that come in and draft with us, we're going to get live on here. We're going to have 10 people on the screen, and we're going to do a draft special. It should be about an hour, maybe about an hour special. And then we vote, and we'll do something where we give something out to the winners. We have, we want you guys to continue tuning in with us. We're going to start doing some giveaways. I know Tom got some Flyers tickets that he wants to raffle off. Derek has some signed jerseys he wants to raffle off. I got a Ben Simmons, Nelson Aguilar, and a fucking couple Carson Wentz jerseys if anybody wants it. No, but for real, I have a All-Star edition, never worn, brand new Joel Embiid jersey that we're gonna be raffling off. And raffling it off doesn't mean you got to give us money. In order to be eligible, you must like, subscribe, and share all of our pages. And once you do that, you will automatically be entered in. And with that, boys,
Right.
You got anything to yo, what's up?
Real quick, since we're talking about the Miles Bridges, I just want to give 2 shout outs real quick.
Go
one,
ahead.
I want to give a shout out to Gary Bettman. I don't know if you know who that is. That's the commissioner of NHL.
Okay.
Because you brought up Miles Bridges, I want to bring up this situation with the Boston Bruins. They were going to sign a 20-year-old kid, Mitchell Miller. A lot of the guys in the locker room don't want it to happen. Back when I think it was 2016, he bullied a disabled kid and started calling him racial slurs. Disabled black kid, he started calling him racial slurs. The Boston Bruins did want to sign him. Gary Bettman said no. He may not ever play it. He never play in the NHL in his career. And I know a lot of the players, a lot of the players on the Bruins are giving negative feedback about it, saying that it's not a good deal. Like a lot of them don't want to play with them. I just want to bring that up. That's a good thing with the NHL. Shout out to that, and then shout out to my man. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, you know how much I hate Boston teams. I'm not a fan. And on this show, I promised from the rip that I will always be unbiased because we're covering all sports and all teams, not just Philly. But Shout out to the Boston Bruins players for that, for not allowing that to come into their locker room.
That also
Kudos,
goes
because
out to their shitty fan base too. Nah, that also goes out to their fan base because I don't think there's all the Boston fans we know. I don't know if there's one person that actually condoned it. Even people that don't watch hockey faithfully didn't condone it, and people that do watch hockey faithfully didn't
the John
condone it.
Pedros of the world.
Yeah, Job that doesn't watch hockey every day didn't even condone it.
Good. What was your second one?
Shout out to the man, probably the greatest hockey player we ever watched play with our own eyes, and Alex Ovechkin.
Claude Giroux? Oh, Ovechkin.
Ovi. 787 career goals for the Washington Capitals. The most goals for anybody in NHL history for one specific team.
Yeah.
787 goals.
Oh, see, and this is something that we'll have to get into on another episode, but how weird is it that you have in just our division alone? What division? We're in the Atlantic?
Yes.
All right, so in our division alone, yeah, that's the one thing about hockey is the divisions elude me. But we have two of the greater hockey players in this generation in our division.
Now we're in the Metropolitan.
Crosby, okay, hey, my bad, that's on me. Between Crosby and Ovechkin, and it's so crazy because I hate Crosby. I wouldn't root for Crosby. Look, man, if I seen Crosby stuck on the side of the road with his dog and he needed a jump, I'll take the dog and leave his ass there. Yeah, fuck Crosby. But I don't feel the same way about Ovechkin I never really liked Ovechkin because again, he's not a Philly guy, and he kills the Flyers. But when I watched that dude celebrate, how he celebrated that championship that they won, I was like, I love this guy, because if he was with us, I would absolutely love him if he was on our team.
They went to a fucking water fountain and jumped in a water fountain with the fucking trophy.
With the cup. Wasn't he? Weren't they chugging out the cup? I know, probably.
They went to a random fucking water fountain and started fucking jumping in the water fountain. It was phenomenal.
It was great. All right, D, you have any closing remarks for today's show?
No, it's a great show. Look forward to finish watching this Sunday night game. I believe Tennessee was winning the last time I checked. I could be wrong, but I'm going to finish watching this game.
14-9.
Looking forward to
check
this tomorrow's game.
Shout out to Derrick Henry with 2 tutties.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for the Chiefs to completely blow out and embarrass Malik Willis. Isn't that what you said, Tom?
Yeah,
let's check in on Malik.
Malik Willis is 3 for 6 for 82 yards.
82, baby.
They don't even have faith in my man throwing the ball against the Chiefs.
Hey, he's 50% completion with 82 yards,
dude, nine carries,
and he got 26 yards on the ground. Let's see
9
something
carries
real quick.
for 92 yards and 2 tutties for the king.
Look on the other side. Mahomes, 19 for 27, 200 yards. They have 1, 2, 3, 7, 9 carries. What? Look at Tennessee has 6 pass attempts and 14 rush attempts, and Kansas City has 27 pass attempts already, and we're not even out of the first half. But we will definitely keep our eyes on this. Listen, I want to thank everybody for tuning in today, whether you were tuning in live or if you're listening to this later. And I really, really want to encourage you guys to like, share, and subscribe. Our Instagram page has officially hit over 100 followers, and I want to thank you guys for that. You guys have been huge for us. The reception that we're getting from you guys, listen, we're not perfect. We're getting better. Everyone's getting mics. Everyone's getting backgrounds. We're working together, and we're going to make this thing as good as we can. And you guys are just showing us so much love, and we appreciate it. And again, we're going to do different giveaways and stuff like that. But listen, just keep tuning in with us. We got another live show Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and from now and then, check out our Phillies 2022 World season recap coming out this week. We're going to have some basketball MVP stuff coming out this week. That's all going to be on our YouTube channel. And until next time, guys, I appreciate you guys being with us. We love you all. Go Birds. We love you. We love you, Phillies, and fire Doc Rivers. All right, fellas. It was a go ahead, Tom.
Keep flying, fly guys. Fuck the fucking Penguins.
Yes. I love it. All right. Until next time, we appreciate everybody being here. Peace.
Late.
Peace. Late.